Chapter 645. Fong Ping was looking at the sculptures, but Su Haoran and the others had no intention of explaining. Soon, they entered a spacious hall. The hall was very tall, and right at the front of the hall, there were 13 huge bronze thrones standing side by side. Fong Ping took a look. He did not have to guess to know that these were the seats of the 13 powerhouses. Although they might not come together, the seats were still prepared. Below the 13 bronze thrones, there were some seats on both sides. Su Haoran and the others entered, but did not take their seats immediately. Instead, they saluted the bronze thrones. Fong Ping and the others followed suit and saluted as well. Su Haoran explained after the salute, "The old ancestors are not from our era. Before the neo-martial era, the impasse realm was the king, the Real King. Therefore, some etiquette is still necessary." Fong Ping nodded in understanding and smiled. "Elder Su, you don't have to say it. It's the same even in modern times. I, Fong Ping, only have admiration and respect for all the impasse realm powerhouses. They guarded Mount Royal Sea for hundreds of years. If it were me, I wouldn't dare to say that I've reached the peak, but I can do it. Although some impasse realm powerhouses are a little disrespectful, I still admire them." Su Haoran and the others stiffened. "Who are you talking about, kid?" Fong Ping laughed dryly. "I'm just joking. The director is a good person. I'm not talking about him. He treats me like a son." Fong Ping is touched and grateful. "Why would I say bad things about him?" Su Haoran and the others maintained their stiff posture. This kid seemed to be taking advantage of them, although this bastard thought he was old Zhang's son. The key was that Zhang Tao's status and seniority were high. Fong Ping immediately raised his own seniority. What would Zhang Tao's grandchildren call him when they saw him? They did not know whether to laugh or cry, but they were also shocked. To be honest, they did not know much about the relationship between Fong Ping and Zhang Tao. They only knew that Zhang Tao protected Fong Ping because of his talent. However, Fong Ping's tone made him sound like he was one of them. Their relationship was closer than they had imagined. Fong Ping glanced at them and cursed in his heart. "You guys are scared to death." Now, he had made up his mind to use old Zhang as a tiger's skin to scare people. He really didn't feel at ease staying in Startown. There were too many experts here. There were many rank 9s and many rank 8s. If it weren't for Zhang Tao, he wouldn't have been able to do things as easily as he did now. As Zhang Tao had said, the title of Martial King was worth quite a bit of money. The rank 9 martial artists from Stellar Sky City were so polite to him, but it was not because of MCMAU. No matter how strong MCMAU was, the only ones who had rank 9 combat strength were Old Wu and Old Man Li. They were not worthy of suppressing Star City's efforts. The crowd did not say much. Fong Ping and the others took their seats on the right, while Su Haoran and the others took their seats on the left. A moment later, someone else arrived outside the hall. Fong Ping and the others stood up again. Su Haoran also helped to introduce them. This time, there were quite a lot of people, including the elderly and middle-aged. "Li Mo, you've met him before?" Fong Ping nodded and smiled at Li Mo. He had met Li Mo many times. Li Mo replied, "My big brother is currently in seclusion. This time, I'll be listening in on the Li family's matters." The Li family had a rank 9 powerhouse. He was also Li Mo's big brother and the current family head of the Li family. At the same time, he was Li Fei's grandfather and Li Jin's cousin. The Li clan was the one that truly had as many experts as the clouds and was extremely powerful. 2 paragons and both powerhouses among the paragons. On Li Jun's side, he had 2 sons. The eldest son had died in battle. The second son, who was also Li Yiming's father, was also a rank 8 golden body. On the 3rd generation side, Li Yiming was about to reach rank 7. Li Yiming's uncle had 2 sons and a daughter. They were all rank 7 too. On the Li family side, Li Mo was a rank 8. The Li family had another rank 8 and 7 to 8 rank 7 martial artists. In a family like this, the number of high-ranked powerhouses exceeded 2 digits. They were not even considered as Li Jun students. People like Li Daong from the military department were actually considered as Li Jun students. Even Old Man Li, whom Li Jun had only met a few times, could be considered as half a student when he imparted his absolute arts. This showed how powerful the Li family was. Soon, Fong Ping also felt this power. Liamo was only a rank 8. At this time, he was sitting on the first seat on the left. After Li Jun was Jiang Yuanhua. Fong Ping understood immediately. This was not a random seating arrangement. Over at Star Town, it was relatively feudal. It was normal to rank according to the family's strength. Liamo was sitting on the first seat. Jiang Yuanhua was second. Su Haoran was third. The middle seat was empty. Wei Yong was fifth. The sixth seat was empty again. On the left, as the number of people who came increased, the number of people who sat down also increased. Fong Ping glanced at them. A total of 9 people came. This meant that there were still 4 families who had not arrived. Fong Ping listened to Su Haoran's introduction of the 4 families that had not arrived. He knew that the Chun, Shun, and Yang families had not arrived. As for the other family, he was not sure what their surname was at the moment. The 9 people on the left were rank 9, rank 7, and rank 8. Not all the family's patriarchs came. When these people arrived, Su Haoran smiled and said, "Everyone is here. The people at the back of the mountain are here too." Before he finished speaking, 3 people walked in from the door. Among these 3 people, one was an old woman wearing a Taoist robe. She had white hair and a crane-like complexion. She held a horsetail whisk in her hand. Another person had a shaved head without any ring scars. He was dressed in plain clothes and held prayer beads in his hand. The last person wore a crown hat. He wore a smile on his face and looked very scholarly. Fong Ping glanced at them from the corner of his eye. His gaze moved slightly. These 3 were all rank 8 golden body powerhouses. This was not simple. These people were the martial artists who had been resurrected. When these people arrived, everyone greeted them. Su Haoran smiled and introduced, "This is Priest Xianqing." Fong Ping and the others nodded slightly. The old woman also nodded in response. Then, she sized them up carefully, not saying a word. "This is Master Hui Hong." The man who was dressed like a monk smiled at them, but did not say a word. "This is Mr. Zihu." The scholarly man, wearing a crown hat, also nodded slightly. After Su Haoran had finished his introduction, the scholarly man said softly, "Are you guys going to say it, or should we do it?" The monk at the side laughed and said, "Aren't you going to do some verification? There's no need. Whether it's true or not, we're all in the same boat after all. There's no harm in making a decision after we make it clear." The 3 newcomers chatted among themselves, leaving Fong Ping and the rest in a daze. They were at a loss. The others were not surprised. Su Haoran smiled and gestured for them to sit down. After they sat down, he said, "Let us do the talking." As he said that, he looked at Fong Ping and the others and asked, "How much do you know about the martial artists who have been resurrected?" Li Hansong looked at Fong Ping. Fong Ping said calmly, "I don't know much. I only know that the martial artists who have been resurrected might be ancient martial artists who have fallen incompletely. Now, they have been resurrected and have been reborn." Su Haoran nodded at first, then shook his head and said, "You can say yes, but you can't say no either. The so-called rebirth is a true rebirth. It means that the memories of the past life have to be recovered. This is the true reincarnation and rebirth. The so-called martial artists who have been resurrected do not mean that you are no longer yourself. It's just that after some ancient martial artists died, their remaining inextinguishable mentality or inextinguishable substance still have some vitality. Thus, they have combined with you as one, creating the modern martial artists who have been resurrected." Fong Ping pondered for a moment and said, "What you mean is that even if the martial artists who have been resurrected in Star City have not recovered the memories of their past lives." "That's right." Su Haoran explained, "The inextinguishable substance or the inextinguishable mentality is not the carrier of memories. It is just an inheritance of power. You can think of yourselves as the successors of those deceased seniors. Of course, the inextinguishable substance also has the aura of the origin of life. Your origin and the origin of the deceased seniors are also of the same origin. According to the theory of the origin of life, you can also think of yourselves as a continuation of life." Fong Ping and the others fell into silence. After a long time, Wang Jinyang said calmly, "Senior Su, whether it's the continuation of life or not, We don't care about these things. Whether it's an inheritor or something else, we are who we are. Wang Jinyang will only be Wang Jinyang. This will not change. Since there is no memory recovery, the martial artists who have been resurrected are just slightly faster than others in terms of cultivation. I can even think of this as a kind of martial arts cultivation talent. Does Senior Su think that this understanding is correct? Su Haoran laughed and said, "It's good to have this kind of mentality. The few of you can enter rank 7 so quickly, not only because of the ability inheritance, but also because of yourselves." Beside him, the old Taoist priest also said lightly, "That's right. The ability inheritance can't change too many things." Resurrected martial artists have advantages and disadvantages. The few of you can reach where you are today. It's mostly because of this life's hard work. It was unfair to attribute everyone's achievements completely to the ability inheritance left behind in their past lives. These resurrected martial artists were also unwilling to leave such an impression on others. Fang Ping did not really want to listen to this, so he said straightforwardly, "Seniors, let's not talk about these digressions for now. This time, Star City invited us here. What do they need us to do? Or rather, what do they need us to give, and what can we get in return? Also, if I may be so bold, what is the ultimate purpose of Star City gathering so many resurrected martial artists?" Good question, and very straightforward too. Jiang Yuanhua, who was beside Su Haoran, laughed and said, "Old Su talks too much nonsense. Fang Ping, the few of you are not ignorant children. Some things, let's just talk openly." Jiang Yuanhua continued, "Although the Jiang family doesn't really participate in these things, we still know a lot about the resurrected martial artists. These things are also related to the Paragon old ancestors. We're not sure about the old ancestors. We only know that when Star City was established, the Back Mountain was included. There is a myriad origins hall in the Back Mountain. According to the information left behind by the old ancestors, this myriad origins hall was not built by the old ancestors themselves, but was discovered in a historical site. Later, the old ancestors moved this myriad origins hall to Star City. In the myriad origins hall, there are some records and fragments. 1,000 years ago, which is also the era of the sex decline, a group of powerhouses, or rather, all the powerhouses in the world, gathered together to complete a big plan. Fang Ping listened attentively. When he heard this and saw that Jiang Yuanhua did not continue, his face suddenly darkened. He said softly, "Old Jiang, please continue. What plan? How many powerhouses were there at that time? And what kind of plan would involve these people together?" "What plan? I'm not sure." Fang Ping frowned. "Are you kidding me? Since the Myriad Origins Hall was left behind, how could there be no information at all?" Jiang Yuanhua said helplessly, "Some things, I don't know whether they were not recorded or were taken away by the old ancestors. We don't know about this, but I don't mind telling everyone that the old ancestors might have covered up the news." Jiang Yuanhua did not deny the fact that some of the old ancestors had taken away some confidential information. This speculation was very likely. Jiang Yuanhua continued, "In short, 1,000 years ago, all the powerhouses in Sino Nation gathered together. They built the Myriad Origins Hall, and the powerhouses who walked out of their path of origin left their chi of origin and some of their understanding of the path of origin. This includes their names, origins, and some simple life stories. The powerhouses who did not walk out of their path of origin also left a wisp of life, origin aura, proving that they had been here and participated. As for the number of people, there were many. In the Myriad Origins Hall, there were 318 small halls, and each hall had one person. To be able to leave a message in the Myriad Origins Hall, the lowest rank was rank 7, which means that there were 318 high-rank powerhouses who participated in this plan. We don't know if all these people died in the master plan, nor do we know if some of them came back alive to retrieve some things. These are all things of the past, and there's no way to trace them back. However, the Myriad Origins Hall still exists, and some of the halls are still quite well preserved. The wisps of chi of origin left behind by the powerhouses from 1,000 years ago have been completely obliterated, and some are still sealed in the halls. As for you people, You are the inheritors of the powerhouses of that era. One of the reasons I asked you to come to Star Town is for yourself. If you can find the corresponding chi of origin or life origin, you may be able to comprehend your own path of origin in advance and re-embark on the martial arts path of your previous life. This will be very beneficial to your future cultivation. It's not just the chi of origin. Once you enter the hall corresponding to you, some of the imperishable substances hidden in your bodies may also be stimulated in advance, helping you to rapidly increase your realm. Of course, this isn't absolute. This is because some people can't find their own hall, because some halls may have been destroyed with the passage of time, if not too many things were left behind, or if they were not well preserved. If that's the case, you won't be able to reap many benefits. At this point, Jiang Yuanhua glanced at the few of them, only to find that they were extremely calm. This time, Jiang Yuanhua could not help but ask, "The few of you, don't you have anything to say?" Fong Ping thought for a while, but still decided to cooperate and give him some face. He said, "In the Myriad Origins Hall, are there any paths of origin left by the supreme powerhouses?" I don't think so, but it's hard to say because the paths of origin at the Supreme and Rank 9 are actually similar. What about those at the Supreme? That's definitely not the case. Otherwise, the ancestors would have said it too. Walking on the path of origin from your previous life. You died in your previous life, so what's the point of walking on it again in this life? Fong Ping was really not too interested, not to mention that he was an imposter. As he said that, he said again, "Right, old Jiang, if we walk on the path of origin from our previous life, can we walk on a new path in this life? In theory, it's possible, but since you've walked on one path, then you should continue walking down it. If you don't reach the end, then take a second path. I'm afraid the chances are not high." Fong Ping understood and asked again, "These powerhouses who participated in the big plan back then, is the plan related to the catacombs? Are the seniors who died in the Battle of the King battleground this group of people? If they are, it means that there should be desperate realms involved, and there are quite a lot of them. And this group of people actually came from the bounded boundaries. Where did the Myriad Origins Hall come from? Moved here from the domain of domains? Or from the human world?" Jiang Yuanhua and the others were speechless for a moment. Fong Ping frowned and said, "So in my opinion, what you said about revealing the truth is a joke. We don't know anything, and now you want us to go to the Myriad Origins Hall to find our own origin aura. Is this necessary? I don't think I can enter Rank 9. For people like us, Rank 9 will not be a roadblock. Not to mention that not everyone inherited the Rank 9 powerhouse's legacy. Even if they did, a mere wisp of origin aura is nothing. Also, since old Jiang said this is one aspect, then what benefits does the other aspect bring to Star City? If it's to improve the overall strength of mankind. Forgive me for being blunt, but in my opinion, the 13 Paragon progenitors are not as good as the 2 ministers. From what I understand, the 13 progenitors have contributed immensely to mankind, but that is based on their own foundation and not an overall improvement. If that's the case, what's the point of improving our strength? Even if we improve, I'm afraid we won't be able to reach the pinnacle and change everything." Jiang Yuanhua and the others felt a headache coming on. In the past, when they found those martial artists who were resurrected, some were low-ranked, some were middle-ranked, and some were not even martial artists at all. To these people, once they heard that there was hope of entering Rank 9, who could refuse? Nobody could refuse. In their eyes, Star City was a holy land. In fact, it was indeed a holy land. Based on this, no one in the past would have said this and still refused. Seeing that they did not speak, Fong Ping said again, "So, seniors, please tell us what you can. We're not children. We've fought in the catacombs many times. We know what we should know." Jiang Yuanhua took a deep breath and glanced at the people from the other families. Among the crowd, Li Mo pondered for a moment and said, "There are some things that we really don't know. As for what you said about the benefits of Star City, I can tell you this. When you comprehend the origin path, if you really comprehend the origin path, then in the Hall of Myriad Origins, some of this origin path will overflow and be collected." Fong Ping's pupils shrank slightly. Wang Jinyang said coldly, "As far as I know, martial artists who walk out of their own origin path will not leak it. Once it is leaked and known by others, they may discover the weakness of your origin path. Because the path you walk, including the pinnacle, is actually incomplete. Otherwise, you won't be unable to walk the path ahead. Also, even if others don't say it, we're not completely ignorant. If a powerhouse who has comprehended the origin path dies, then the powerhouse who understands his origin path may be able to continue on his path. Star City allows martial artists resurrected to comprehend the origin here and leave behind origin chi. In my opinion, it's more like expanding the origin chi that was originally left behind. If I'm not mistaken, the origin chi left behind in the Hall of Myriad Origins is probably very little. Unless we comprehend it ourselves, outsiders probably won't be able to use it. Seniors, is this the case? Liemo said solemnly. That's right, but Stellar Sky City has its own needs. Everyone can rest assured that Stellar Sky City will not make any moves against you. This is something that the 13 ancestors have given a clear answer to. The Martial King is also aware of this. Between us and the martial artists resurrected, it's a win-win situation. It's not that Star City monopolizes the benefits. This point can also be proven by Masters Hui Hong and the others. Moreover, we will also provide you with a lot of resources. You've already reached rank 7, so you can comprehend it. Some of the martial artists resurrected in the past, some who aren't even martial artists, want to comprehend the origin path. At the very least, they need to externalize their mentality, which is the mentality-vitality-unity realm. Before this, all the cultivation resources were provided by Star City. Fong Ping chuckled. Old Li, we've already reached rank 7. Those resources are dispensable to us. Let's not talk about whether we left the origin path in the Hall of Myriad Origins, or whether we didn't comprehend the origin path in our past lives. No matter what, we don't need this. Other than these, is there nothing else? Everyone was speechless for a moment. After a long time, Liemo said again, there is. If you can really comprehend the origin path, we will provide you with an opportunity, an incomparably huge opportunity. This opportunity, I still can't say what kind of opportunity it is, but if you get such an opportunity, it's not impossible to reach the summit. Seeing that Fong Ping and the others did not seem to believe him, Liemo said with a straight face, not only I can guarantee this, Star City can guarantee this. Third brother, Commander Li, had such an opportunity before. Everyone, do you understand what I mean? Fong Ping's pupils contracted slightly. He said, Commander Li is a martial artist resurrected? No. Then, although he isn't, he had such an opportunity before. That's why he could enter the summit. Of course, third brother is also slightly related to martial artists resurrected. His mother is actually a martial artist resurrected. Fong Ping suddenly understood something. The bounded domain. Martial artists resurrected were indeed related to the bounded domain. Fong Ping gave them a deep look. After a while, he said slowly, what you're collecting may not be our origin path, nor is it the so-called origin path. What you need is the key. Perhaps without reaching rank 9 or without comprehending the origin path, then the key can't be opened. Or in other words, it can't be opened completely. Or perhaps an individual's origin path is not enough and requires the origin path of several or more people to be opened. Therefore, Star City's goal is actually not to comprehend our origin path. You want us to walk the path of our past lives, just so that we can duplicate this key. Opportunity. I think I've already guessed what kind of opportunity it is. Seniors, now I only want to verify one thing. Those seniors who died in the King battlefield, are they the ones from back then? Everyone was a little strange. After a long time, Su Howren said, I don't know. You don't know? Indeed, we don't know. Because some things are difficult for us to judge clearly. But even if they're not, those seniors from 1,000 years ago and those seniors in the King battlefield should be very closely related. Perhaps they're descendants, inheritors, or even survivors from back then. We have made some guesses about this, but because the people involved have already passed away, we can't verify anything. After Su Howren finished speaking, Jiang Yuanhua suddenly said, whether you want to comprehend your own origin path or not, why don't you go to the Myriad Origins Hall and take a look first? Even if you don't comprehend it, Once you enter the Myriad Origins Hall, if you can sense it, then you can also comprehend your past and present lives. Of course, you may not care about this, but at the critical moment, when you need to comprehend it, at least you will know that there is a chance for you to rapidly increase your strength here. Fong Ping raised his eyebrows slightly, then quickly smiled and said, Master Hui Hong, have you and the others already comprehended the origin paths? The three of them glanced at him. Very soon, Hui Hong nodded lightly and said, the strength of the golden body is not enough, and our mentality has not passed the barrier. Otherwise, we would be rank 9 who have comprehended the origin path. Speaking of which, it is somewhat similar to your esteemed school's Dean Li, Fong Ping said again. Then, you mean that you want us to comprehend it? Not so. Although the past and present lives are not important, in the Myriad Origins Hall, some people come from the same sect, and some from the same clan. Actually, this time we came here on one hand to verify Startown's words, and on the other hand, to find an old friend. As Hui Hong said that, he smiled and said, I am also a modern martial artist, but now I have also understood the identity of my past life. In my past life, I had a younger brother who also left a few words in the Myriad Origins Hall, including a wisp of origin path. Therefore, if we really want to talk about the purpose, our purpose is to acknowledge relatives. Whether we are strangers in this life or not, at least we were relatives in our past life. There are not many opportunities like this in a person's life. Although we are martial artists, we are also human. Benefactor Fong should be able to understand our feelings. Understood. Fong Ping understood. He understood the intentions of these martial artists who had been resurrected. Acknowledging relatives. All right, perhaps there was this purpose. The key was that they were here to speak for themselves. Startown had only benefited them and had not harmed anyone. If they could comprehend their own origin path and advance at rank 8, once they reached rank 9, they would quickly become powerhouses, just like Wu Quishan. Startown was just using a few examples to lure them. Moreover, it seemed like they were speaking openly, and there was nothing they could not say, but there were some things that Startown was still unwilling to reveal to them. Fong Ping tilted his head and glanced at Old Wang and the others, asking, What do you guys think? Wang Jinyang said slowly, We can go and take a look. Li Hansong, on the other hand, pondered for a moment and said in a muffled voice, There were 318 people back then. How many people left behind Origin Path? 32. Of course, some halls have completely obliterated everything, so there might not be only 32 people. Are there as many as 108 people? Of course not. Li Hansong did not know if he was disappointed or regretful. He glanced at Fong Ping, his gaze complicated. After a long time, he said, If that's the case, then we can go and take a look. Fong Ping did not change his expression, but he cursed in his heart. What was Ironhead doing? Did he doubt my words? Most importantly, I did not say much. You made up the story yourself. How can you blame me? Seeing that none of them had any objections, Fong Ping said, Old Su, then let's go and take a look. Maybe we can really find some relatives. Fong Ping chuckled. In his heart, however, he was wondering if this trip to Star City would benefit him in any way. After all this time, it was just a hall of myriad origins. Some of the information that he wanted to know still had no answers. It seemed like he still had to rely on Fatty. He would ask him to continue being the city spy later and get him some information. Startown definitely knew more than this. They must know more about this batch of martial artists who had been resurrected 1,000 years ago, including the bounded domain. Chapter 646. In the hall, Su Haoran and the others walked out one step ahead. Fong Ping and the others were a step behind. These people were not stupid. Knowing that they had something to talk about, they did not greet them. Instead, they stayed away. When they were far away, Fong Ping set up mentality barriers, one after another. At this moment, Fong Ping opened his mouth and said, Actually, the reason suppressing Star City sent us here is for the bounded domain. If my guess is correct, the powerhouses in the Hall of Myriad Origins are most likely the powerhouses from the Imperial Battleground. The Hall of Myriad Origins may not have been moved from Earth, but from the catacombs. The purpose of Star City's Paragon ancestor is probably to enter the bounded domain. You know what happened last time? If you are weak, you may not be able to enter. Even if you can, you may not get any benefits. The origin path is only available to rank 9. Rank 9, even in the ancient martial era, is not a weakling. It is normal for such powerhouses to have the key to the bounded domain. Even the bounded domain may be arranged by these people, or they participated in it. Their origin path is the best key, enough to open all or most of the areas. Wang Jinyang frowned. Not necessarily. It may be to comprehend our origin and break through the realm. Will a normal rank 9 powerhouse open up their origin path comprehension to outsiders? No, it is impossible. And resurrected martial artists, in order to advance quickly, can only agree to Star City. Because if you do not agree, they will not let you comprehend, or, as long as you go, they will be able to collect these. So, although we say that the initiative is with us, in fact, it is still with Star City. Unless we do not comprehend, the two of them talked for a while. Qin Fengqin was speechless. I say, why are you in such a hurry? It is hard to say whether you are rank 9 or not. Rank 8 resurrected. Where can you go to comprehend the origin path? Since they want us to go take a look, then let's go take a look. Also, Fong Ping, this does not fit with whatever heavenly court you were talking about. According to what these people said, during the sect era, the martial artists who participated in the big plan came from various sects and clans. Not some heavenly court. I knew you were a big liar. I guessed it right. Fong Ping let out a humph and said lightly, "What do you know?" "I don't know, but Tai Tu is in trouble." Li Hansong's face was full of embarrassment as he said, "How do you know that there isn't a powerful organization above these sects? If there was no one to organize it, how did all those people get together? Also, when the few of us are together, I feel a sense of closeness. But the three just now didn't feel that at all. This means that we might not be in cahoots with them." Intimacy? The corners of Qin Fengqing's mouth twitched. The others were the same. Are you sure? You're talking nonsense. They had been in contact for a long time and often went on missions together. How could they not be close? Moreover, they are all from the same generation. If you were to stay with those old men and old women, would you be able to get close to them? Although Wang Jinyang was speechless, he thought about it and said, "It's not impossible. In fact, even now, I am still wondering if we are really the same group of people as them." Seeing that Lao Wang supported him, Li Hansong immediately heaved a sigh of relief and said, "I knew it. Also, 1,000 years ago was only the era of sections. Maybe we are not martial artists from the era of sects, but from the mythological era? Then how do you explain the fact that the bounded boundaries are related to them?" Qin Fengqin was determined to refute Li Hansong today. This guy was almost turning into an idiot. The key point was that this guy called him servant every day. He had to give him a good beating so that he would believe this big hoodwinker. Li Hansong seemed to have thought of something and humphed. That's hard to say. Maybe the bounded boundaries existed during the mythological era. But after that, something happened to us and we were occupied by those people. Actually, both of us had no contact at all and didn't know each other because we were not from the same generation. These resurrected martial artists might be our servants. Servants my ass. Qin Fengqin could not help but curse. He said angrily, "Stop talking nonsense." Li Hansong said with a serious face, "Really, I think it's very possible. Think about it. We left the mansions behind, but we died in battle. Before we left, we had to leave some people to look after the house, right? But these people saw that the master did not return and died, so they occupied the master's mansions. There's nothing wrong with that, right? As for what happened after that, it's hard to guess. What was their big plan? Maybe after we died in battle, there was no one to protect and escort them. They had no choice but to gather together and fight against the catacombs. Anyway, there are many possibilities." Fong Ping glanced at him. "Ironhead was a real bull. You should be called Iron Bull." "I didn't think so much. And you've already imagined everything?" Ironhead had just finished speaking when Yao Chenjun also said in a low voice, "Hansong's speculation can't be said to be complete nonsense. Everyone, this place might not even have the path of origin of a desperate realm. In fact, the possibility is very high." But how much imperishable matter does Fong Ping have? Do you think that Fong Ping is really related to the Hall of Myriad Origins? Also, the few of us have consumed a lot of imperishable matter. We might not be at the absolute peak, but there should be rank 9. If, and I'm saying if later we don't sense the aura of our origin, does it mean that we are not among this group of people? I don't think that after consuming so much imperishable matter, we are still rank 7 or 8 martial artists. Also, have you guys forgotten your divine weapons? Is that something a rank 7 or 8 martial artist can have? I also have the feeling that we are not the same group of people now. There's one more thing. Have you guys noticed? What? The 3 resurrected martial artists just now. Yao Qingjun hesitated for a moment before saying, the feeling that they gave me was not strong. Or rather, there was nothing outstanding about them. Their strength might be the weakest among rank 8. Although they have understood the origin of their past lives, it means that they were also rank 9 powerhouses in their past lives. But these 3, the feeling that they gave me was not as strong as the rank 8 in the modern times. And we, among the same rank, have always been the strongest. Of course, when we reach rank 8, maybe some of our advantages will be gone, but I think that when I reach rank 8, I should be stronger than them. Li Hansong and Wang Jinyang nodded at the same time. Therefore, in the next moment, the 3 of them came to a conclusion at the same time. We are not the same group of people. Fong Ping was exhausted. What should I say? Qin Fengqing was also at a loss. What you guys said makes sense, but Qin Fengqing quickly put on a long face and said, doesn't that mean that we won't get any benefits from coming here this time? What was the purpose of coming to Star City? To improve their strength. Now that they were here, there were no benefits at all. So what was the point of coming here? No, they could challenge some people later. Maybe they could get some benefits. Fong Ping did not speak, but Wang Jinyang raised his eyebrows slightly, looked at Fong Ping and said, Fong Ping, you can help us, not for the so-called origin, but in the hope of guiding more imperishable matter to hone ourselves. You also know that we are different from you. We can't actively control the appearance of imperishable matter. We can only hurt ourselves continuously and use the imperishable matter to recover. After recovering from injuries, the imperishable matter will disappear automatically. That's why every time we use up the imperishable matter, most of it is used to recover from injuries. The real benefits we get are just some additional benefits after the imperishable matter is used to heal our injuries. If this goes on, the consumption will be too great, the loss will outweigh the gain. If the origin in the Hall of Myriad Origins can help us guide the imperishable matter, then it will be easier. As soon as he said this, their eyes lit up. Fong Ping could change their auras. Fong Ping, on the other hand, frowned and said that only rank 9 have the origin. I can't do that, and I can't do it. Some rank 7 can know. Unless rank 7 can also guide it, otherwise there is no other way. There is another way, and that is to encounter a real rank 9 powerhouse reincarnated martial artist. If the other party's strength does not surpass mine, then I can also give it a try. But now, without such a comparison, there is no other way. Qin Fengqing swallowed and said, can't you weaken the rank 9 aura a little and turn it into a rank 7? Fong Ping shook his head and said, a rank 9 is a rank 9. Weakened, it is still a rank 9 in essence. I said, only if I become another person after reincarnation, and I have his aura, then I can do it. Qin Fengqing suddenly said, then, you can change anyone? As long as their strength does not surpass yours. But back then, didn't you say that you only collected Iron Head and the other's life origin, and then have a bloodline connection with me? Fong Ping said indifferently, nonsense. I am also collecting the other party's life origin now. Can I change a person I have never seen before? Your life origin, I have had it since I was weak. I didn't collect it later. Now that my strength is strong, then I can continue to collect and then change. The few of them looked at him. Even Li Hansong could not help but say in a low voice, Fong Ping, you tell me the truth. Are you? Fong Ping was speechless. After a while, he said, I don't know. I haven't resurrected much. How would I know the specific situation? I just have a little impression. Whether it's real or not, who knows? Maybe that little memory is wrong. Maybe it's my own imagination. It's not impossible. Ironhead, let me tell you, don't take it seriously. I, Fong Ping, am not someone who talks nonsense. Some things, I will only tell you if I have some impression. If I don't, then I can only give a rough idea and talk about my own guesses. Li Hansong suddenly gritted his teeth and said, Anyway, I believe you. What you said is more reliable than what Star City said. What Star City said is the unreliable one. Later, I will ask around about the situation of these people's life gates and whether there are any divine weapons hidden inside. If there aren't, then it means that everyone has no relationship at all. Also, about the bounded zones, do you guys think we should ask around? From what I can see, they can't enter. Maybe they can enter after reaching rank 9, but I was just rank 6 at that time. At this point, Li Hansong mumbled, That's not even my mansion. A rank 6 martial artist can bring people in. This means that my authority is higher than these rank 8 and rank 9 martial artists. Why? Because the owner of the bounded zones and I are really familiar, acquainted, friends, equal, but they are not. They only occupied that place in the later stages, or are they servants? Do I make sense? Fong Ping said with a serious look, It makes sense. Ironhead, I have said everything I can. I just want to use the identity of the resurrected martial artist to conceal the system. I have denied everything else. Now, these are all your own imagination. In the future, it really has nothing to do with me. As Fong Ping said that, he suddenly thought of something. He frowned and said, No matter what, these resurrected martial artists and the bounded zones are inseparable. Old Wang, do you still have the token with you? Yes. Give it to me. Wang Jinyang did not say much. He fished out a token from his body and gave it to Fong Ping. Fong Ping took it in his hand and observed it for a while. Very quickly, he said in a low voice, Since these people are related to the bounded zones, then I will try later and see if I can make the token trigger some reaction. If it works, then it means that we can find out the identity of these people. This also means that maybe we can find the corresponding bounded zones. Fong Ping's eyes flickered. Then we can enter the bounded zones? This trip is not in vain, Yao Qingjun said hesitantly. Are you sure you can trigger a reaction? If it works, you mentioned earlier that the government still has some tokens that they haven't found the corresponding places. Can't we just come to Star Town and try? Nonsense. Some bounded zones are destroyed. The token might belong to those bounded zones. Even if some are not destroyed, even if they can sense where the token belongs to, without the appearance of the resurrected martial artists in this place, how can they go to the bounded zones? You have also seen the plan to open Star Town's door. It requires the combination of the token and the aura. They are different from me. They can only bring the token with them. Commander Li was able to go in back then. Maybe his mother is a resurrected martial artist from that bounded zones. Do you think my speculation is correct? Makes sense. Li Hansong nodded, expressing his agreement. At this moment, they had 2 tokens in their hands. They should correspond to 2 bounded zones. If they triggered some reaction here, it meant that these martial artists had not been resurrected yet, or they were completely dead. The others could not do anything. Fong Ping had collected the aura. Even if he could not simulate it now, he could in the future. When that time came, he could bring the token into the bounded zones. At this point, Li Hansong said again, In that case, we still have to continue to collect more information about the bounded zones. Otherwise, it's hard to be sure. Aha! Fong Ping looked at Qin Fengqing and said, When we get back, let Fatty do some work. If we can't get this information, let Fatty do it. Qin Fengqing was speechless. Fatty won't be beaten to death, will he? Fong Ping rubbed his chin and said in a low voice, The possibility of being beaten to death is not high. Getting beaten up is a must. Tell Fatty that if he gets beaten up, I will give him some imperishable substance to temper his body. Otherwise, with his situation, it will be difficult for him to achieve mentality-vitality fusion. It will be even more difficult for rank 7. Give him some imperishable substance. Maybe he can enter rank 7. Give it to me. Why? Qin Fengqing was speechless. He said gloomily, Am I not your blood relative? To your relatives, Get lost. Qin Fengqing was even more gloomy. You said it yourself. I can't admit it. Now that I'm asking for benefits, you don't want to admit it. As they were talking, Wang Jinyang said, let's go. Don't let those seniors wait too long. Moreover, this is not the place to talk. This was Star City. Rank 9s could not pass through the mentality barrier directly to eavesdrop. Otherwise, Fong Ping would definitely find out. However, it was hard to say for Paragon. If they talked too much, if there was a Paragon in the city now and they could not sense it, it would not be a good thing if they were eavesdropped. Everyone did not delay any further. Soon, they left the hall. Su Haoran and the rest did not say anything about their delay until now. While leading everyone to the back of the mountain, he said, since you're here, if you have anything else you want to ask, no, or can say, we will tell you. Li Hansong asked, how many resurrected martial artists are there here in totals? 36. Are there many high ranks? Not many, 12. Li Hansong frowned slightly. Wang Jinyang too. After thinking for a while, Wang Jinyang said, the ages of the resurrected martial artist seniors. The youngest is 50 years old. Everyone looked at each other. What kind of joke was this? The youngest resurrected martial artist was 50 years old. He had not even reached rank 7. Previously, Senior Su seemed to have mentioned that some of them had returned to the sect. What do you mean by this? Some of the sects today were passed down from thousands of years ago. Some of the resurrected martial artists understood their past life's identity and where they came from. No matter what happened in this life, they were still indebted to the legacy. Some thousand-year-old sects have fallen. They don't even have middle-ranked martial artists. Therefore, these people chose to return to the sect. They also have the intention to strengthen the sect. The cycle of karma is considered to be returning a favor from the past life. Fong Ping glanced at Hui Hong and the other two. The female Taoist said calmly, we also have a sect, but it's already extinct. Some of the sects in the past are mostly extinct. In this life, we came to Star City a long time ago. That's why we settled here. Star City has also given us the back of the mountain. We're staying here, so we don't have to wander around. Fong Ping smiled. Have you entered the catacombs, senior? Yes, I have. The female Taoist said. However, that was only after achieving mentality, vitality, unity, and comprehending their own origin. Only then did they go to the catacombs. Before that, we were also worried that if we died, no one would comprehend origin anymore. That's why we never went to the catacombs. Fong Ping laughed. Star City was probably afraid that if they died, they would not be able to collect origin. However, as Li Mo and the rest said, it was mutually beneficial. It was not easy for Star City to nurture them all the way to mentality, vitality, unity. At this time, they comprehended origin and left behind some origin chi. This was considered a price paid in exchange for those resources. These people themselves knew that Star City probably did not hide anything from them. Everyone knew it in their hearts. It was just a matter of whether they were willing or not. If Fong Ping was still rank 1 and heard that someone was sponsoring him with resources to cultivate all the way to mentality, vitality, unity, as long as they left behind some origin chi when they comprehended origin, Fong Ping would probably do it. What a joke. I'm only rank 1. How would I know if I can reach rank 9 in the future, to the peak? The most important thing is to seize the opportunity now. There were too many people who were willing to pay a price in the future in exchange for becoming stronger quickly now. Only Fong Ping and the rest had reached rank 7 and were extremely confident about their future. Otherwise, they would not even consider it. Along the way, everyone asked a lot of questions. This included some questions about the boundaries. Some questions were answered, some were not. Walking along the bluestone path, they went all the way to the depths, passing through a few bridges. Soon the bluestone path came to an end. In front of the path was a lush mountain ridge. The Hall of Myriad Origins is in the valley. The resurrected martial artists also live there, Su Haoran said, then smiled and said, let's use the flight step and go there. Everyone used the flight step and quickly flew toward the mountain ridge not far away. Before they arrived, Fong Ping heard the sound of a waterfall hitting the water surface. He also heard human voices. This place had a better environment than Star City. It was more elegant. It was no wonder that many of these resurrected martial artists were unwilling to leave. The energy here was also extremely rich. Star City treated these people quite well. After flying for a while, Fong Ping had a clear view of the situation below. In a huge and flat valley, a magnificent basilica stood in the middle. Around the basilica, there were some residences. There were stone houses and bamboo houses. Some people could be seen walking around the basilica. There were even children. Fong Ping revealed a strange expression. Beside him, the scholarly man chuckled and said, "Resurrected martial artists are also people. You guys are too. You should also understand that we're not much different from other people. We are not the ancient people that you think we are. Therefore, there will be people who marry and have children. Some people will travel to the outside world. When they meet someone they can spend a lifetime with, they will also bring them back to start a family. We will also go to the city to communicate. When we meet someone suitable in Star City, we will also get together." Fong Ping thought for a while and said, "Jiang Chao mentioned before that he has never seen you guys. That's normal." The scholarly man smiled and said, "We don't have many people. The back mountain is also their forbidden area. If we go into the city, they might not pay attention to us. After all, there are 5,000 to 6,000 people in the city. They can't possibly know everyone. We also won't say that we are resurrected martial artists after entering the city. There is no need for that. Actually, it has only been these few years. In the past, there were actually fewer people who knew of our existence." Beside him, Liamo opened his mouth and said, "In the past, I was not very clear. I only knew that the back mountain is a forbidden area. This is the rule set by the old ancestors." As for now, Liamo glanced at Fong Ping and the others. After a while, he said, "It has something to do with you guys. The few of you have caused too much commotion in the outside world. Everyone knows about you and your uniqueness. Actually, we don't publicize the resurrected martial artists because we are afraid of causing unnecessary trouble. Not every resurrected martial artist is willing to be different from others. If we don't say it, then we can continue living as a normal person. But if we say it, then we might be criticized." Fong Ping understood and said, "What's wrong with that? Whether I am resurrected or not, I have overcome this hurdle myself. I don't care how outsiders criticize me." Fong Ping said it calmly, because he was not a resurrected martial artist. If he was, then he might not be so calm. Also, there were some things that could not be said. For example, could he say that he had transmigrated from another world? He could not say it. Therefore, in the past, the existence of resurrected martial artists was a secret. This was very normal. Even now, there were not many people who knew about Fong Ping and the others. Don't look like everyone knew. In reality, only MCMU knew a little more, and some grandmasters had some guesses. As for the others, they knew nothing. However, because of their existence, resurrected martial artists were no longer a big secret. Now more and more people knew about it. As they spoke, everyone landed on the ground. Soon a child laughed and said, "Grandpa, where did you go? I want to fly too." Fong Ping did not react. Beside him, Monk Hui Hong suddenly hugged the child and said with a smile, "Grandpa went to the city. Next time, I'll bring you flying." Fong Ping was dumbfounded. "Weren't you a monk?" That was not right. It was normal for monks to marry and have children. However, these few were like otherworldly masters at the beginning. In Fong Ping's opinion, they should be the kind of pure cultivators who did not care about the secular world. But now, the style was not right. Seeing the strange look on Fong Ping and the others' faces, Scholar Ziho laughed and said, "Don't look at us." I said, "We are also human. The reason why we dress like this is not because we are real monks, Taoists, or people of Confucianism." Scholar Ziho thought for a while. His expression was slightly solemn. "Everyone, there is something I still have to remind you. Understanding your own origin. Although it does not carry your memories, some habits, perhaps the habits of your previous life, will gradually make you produce a kind of fusion. For example, I was the sect leader of the South Mountain sect in my previous life. Whether I was a person of Confucianism or not, I'm not sure. But ever since I understood the origin, I have a vague feeling that I should dress like this, because I am a Confucian. The two of them are the same. Of course, these effects are not too big. It is also to let us understand these origins more smoothly and produce a greater fusion. However, we still have to be careful to avoid being completely immersed in it. Back then, we did not have much experience and our willpower was not strong enough. That was why we fell into it. Now, these habits are hard to change in a short period of time. Fong Ping was speechless. So, the three of them were all imposters? He really thought that the three of them were powerhouses of Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism. Fong Ping said it was in this life. Now it seemed that it was not the case. They were just a little affected. However, Fong Ping was still a little vigilant. This kind of influence was still very scary. It might change a person's personality. Fong Ping was fine, but old Wang and the others had to be careful. If their identity before resurrection was a devil, and they were allowed to understand their previous life's origin, would there not be a huge change? As everyone landed, some martial artists nearby also rushed over. Someone laughed from afar and said, "A newcomer? There hasn't been newcomers for a long time. I thought it was just us. Now it seems that there are still people resurrected. Their strength is very strong, stronger than us. Did they enter the Grandmaster realm?" While they were talking, 7 or 8 men and women rushed over. There were high ranks and middle ranks. These people sized up Fong Ping and the others. A woman said, "I have a sister that I haven't found yet." These few, Fong Ping and the others, looked at Qin Fengqing in unison. "Her sister is you. It has nothing to do with us. Who asked you to pretend to be a resurrected martial artist?" Qin Fengqing's face darkened. "You are the sister. Your whole family are sisters. This middle-aged woman is too despicable. Can't she see that we are a group of men? Why are you asking about a sister?" Unexpectedly, Su Haoran laughed and said, "Some seniors cough cough, this kind of situation really happens. Resurrection doesn't necessarily mean that they are male in their previous life and male in this life." The few of them were speechless. They looked at each other. Fong Ping looked at old Wang and the others. After a long time, he said vaguely, "I remember that the god of war is a female." Wang Jinyang's face was livid. "If you dare to talk nonsense again, I will kill you right now." Chapter 647. Jokes aside, Fong Ping and the others quickly walked toward the grand hall under everyone's anticipation. Before entering the hall, just as they reached the hall's entrance, the hall suddenly trembled slightly. At this moment, Yao Qingjuan's mentality fluctuated violently. "What's going on?" Su Haoran was shocked. Zhang Yuanhua and the others were also shocked. Even if he was a resurrected martial artist, he should not have caused the origin to tremble at the entrance before entering the hall. Li Hansong was completely dumbfounded. "Did I guess wrongly? We are the same group of people." Old Yao had not even entered the door, and he actually caused such a huge reaction. At this moment, the huge bronze hall trembled violently. Yao Qingjuan's mentality also began to fluctuate continuously, his face revealing a repressed expression, as if he was holding back something. To everyone's surprise, he shook his head gently and said, "It's nothing, it's just..." Yao Qingjun hesitated again and again, but did not speak again. This time, Su Haoran could not help but ask hurriedly. Vice-Chancellor Yao sensed his own origin. I don't think so." Yao Qingjun hesitated again, seeing that everyone in Stellar Sky City did not believe him. Seeing this, Yao Qingjun pondered for a moment, but still said softly, "I feel this hall is mine." Everyone was dumbfounded. At this moment, Qin Fengqing really admired him from the bottom of his heart. F***ck. Old Yao did not reveal himself at all, but he was really amazing. They were eyeing the origin, but old Yao actually wanted to take the entire hall away. Yao Qingjun said with a serious face, "This hall might be mine, whether you believe it or not." As he said that, Yao Qingjun suddenly looked at the sealed hall's entrance, which was a pair of incomparably huge bronze doors. Yao Qingjun took a look, and suddenly the doors rumbled. In the next moment, the doors opened. Li Mo and the others were all stunned. This Hall of Myriad Origins really belongs to him? This hall can only be opened by rank 9. How did he open it? Hall of Myriad Origins belongs to Yao Qingjun. Everyone was stunned. This was even more shocking than having their origin. The Hall of Myriad Origins was just too special. Logically speaking, it was actually very difficult to preserve a martial artist's origin. At the very least, one had to be in a desperate situation to be able to preserve one's origin energy. 4 rank 9 martial artists below the Paragon level. Even if they had comprehended the Tao of origin, their origin would dissipate when they died. For example, the Rose City Lord had retained her origin for a period of time, but that was because it had not dissipated in time. However, a special hall like the Myriad Origins Hall had done it. Not only did it preserve the 9th stage origin, but it also preserved the 7th and 8th stage life origin, which hadn't dissipated even after thousands of years. Su Haoran murmured. Back then, the elder ancestor said that even he couldn't refine this hall. It could be a relic left behind by an ancient martial artist. Jiang Yuanhua's expression was strange as he said softly, "Ancient martial artists are not martial artists from the era of sex, but martial artists from the era of ancient martial arts. The Myriad Origins Hall belongs to Yao Qingjun." At this time, Yao Qingjun was also having a headache and was at a loss. Beside him, Fang Ping's eyes flickered. Very quickly, he smiled and said, "Looks like old Yao might have been everyone's leader 1,000 years ago. Old Yao, don't tell me you didn't even preserve your own origin when you refined this thing?" At this moment, Fang Ping suddenly realized a problem. If everyone was not the same group of people, would it cause some additional trouble? At this moment, Fang Ping's eyes flickered slightly, and he patted Qin Fengqing. Qin Fengqing was stunned for a moment. Very quickly, he shook his head and said, I think I can sense my life origin. It's in the hall." Jiang Yuanhua and the others looked at Qin Fengqing. Qin Fengqing said with a determined expression, "Yes, I can sense my life origin aura. It doesn't seem to be the martial path of origin. In that case, I was actually not a rank 9 in my past life?" Su Haoran could not help but ask, "Life origin, standing outside the Myriad Origins Hall. You can't sense it, right? The halls inside are all sealed. Only when you get close to the hall and find the hall that belongs to you can you trigger some reaction from the hall. Those halls are all sealed. Forget about rank 7 or 8 martial artists resurrecting. Even a rank 9 won't be able to sense it from so far away. Actually, we haven't opened the hall before. If you're not the person, you can't enter." "Instructor Qin, you didn't sense it wrong, did you?" Everyone was talking at once. At this moment, all of them were at a loss. Why was it completely different from before this time? Qin Fengqing said with certainty, "I really sensed it. Once we go in, we should be able to find the place." Jiang Yuanhua and the others were at a loss at this moment. For a moment, the few rank 9s were at a loss. This time, these fellows had brought them too many surprises. Also, was Qin Fengqing a martial artist resurrected? To be honest, before this, everyone felt that he did not seem like it. At this moment, Yao Qingjuan's mentality touched Fang Ping lightly. Fang Ping's eyes moved. He took a step forward without batting an eyelid. Wang Jinyang and the others also looked at him. Fang Ping took a step forward, looked at the hall door that was wide open, smiled and said, "Let's go in and take a look. I can't wait." After saying that, Fang Ping took a step inside. As soon as he entered, Old Wang and the others moved extremely quickly, entering quickly. Jiang Yuanhua and the others were just about to follow. Boom! The door was closed. Su Haoran could not hold it in. He suddenly scolded, "Little bastard! Open the door!" Jiang Yuanhua was also stunned. He murmured, "The Hall of Myriad Origins has been robbed." Liemo sighed and said, "Yao Qingjun said this is his. I thought it might be robbed." The next moment, they looked at each other. Soon, Jiang Yuanhua went forward to push the door, but the door did not budge. This time, Wei Yong panicked and shouted, "The Hall of Myriad Origins is very important. Even if it's their own, we can't give it to them. Quick, go to Mount Imperial Sea and invite the Elder Ancestor." Having said that, he turned to Li Mo and shouted, "Go and invite the Li family head. We don't know what they will do in the Hall of Myriad Origins. Hurry." "Okay, I'll ask Big Brother to come out of seclusion immediately." Jiang Feng, go and invite the Jiang family head. All the family heads come here quickly. Zheng Yu, go to Mount Imperial Sea and find the elder ancestor. Invite one back quickly. Inform Commander Li. Then, King Wu, do you want as someone asked? Wei Yong looked helpless. Jiang Yuanhua sighed and said, invite him back too. The Hall of Myriad Origins has become Yao Qingjuan's. Should I silence him? If I can't kill him, then I have to make things clear. This matter cannot be left unsettled. Star City will never give away the Hall of Myriad Origins. There are still many resurrected martial artists who haven't sensed their origin. If the Hall of Myriad Origins is lost, he didn't want to speak anymore. Star City's investment in the resurrected martial artists all these years would all go down the drain. Not only that, even these resurrected martial artists might be lost. Inviting a wolf into the house. At this moment, Jiang Yuanhua suddenly cursed, F***ck me. Who the F***ck invited these brats to Star City? Su Haoran's face was ashen. He snorted and said, I invited them. Old Wei is also here. Who are you scolding? Jiang Yuanhua said angrily, these brats, wherever they go, they cause trouble. Once they see something good, they sweep it all away. What were you thinking, inviting them to Star City? Haven't you been cheated enough? 5 divine weapons were lost, and Li Mo, that good-for-nothing, still had to thank him. Over at the King battlefield, Fatty was cheated and thanked him every day, but he didn't get any benefits. But you guys actually invited him to our house as a guest, you? Hindsight. Su Haoran flew into a rage out of humiliation and scolded. When I invited you, didn't you agree? Patriarchs, please calm down, Scram. If the Hall of Myriad Origins is really lost, or the origin inside is destroyed, return the resources I invested. The patriarchs present were cursing at this moment, so angry that they wanted to vomit blood. Right under their noses, these bastards had locked them out. As soon as Yao Qingjun entered, the door closed, and they couldn't even push it open. If someone said that it wasn't Yao Qingjun, they wouldn't believe it even if they were beaten to death. The rest of the people ran in all directions, looking for the clan head, looking for the clan head, looking for the Royal Sea Mountain. There were also people going outside, preparing to inform the 2 apex martial artists outside. They made a lot of noise, and the resurrected martial artists were also stunned. After a long time, someone murmured, the Hall of Myriad Origins Master is here. The Hall of Myriad Origins was built by a powerhouse. What relationship do we have with the Hall of Myriad Origins Master? Our life, origin, and martial origin are stored in the Hall of Myriad Origins. At least we have absolute trust in the Hall of Myriad Origins Master. To be able to make hundreds of high ranks trust him so much, at this moment, everyone suddenly remembered what Fong Ping said just now. 1,000 years ago, Old Yao might have been everyone's leader, other than the leader, who could make everyone trust so much that they would protect the origin inside. Their origin inside was very weak now, but it might not be the same 1,000 years ago. In 1,000 years, a lot of everyone's origin had dissipated. Back then, it might have been enough for the Hall of Myriad Origins Master to comprehend their Tao of origin. For a moment, the resurrected martial artists present had complicated looks in their eyes. As for Jiang Yuanhua and the others who were jumping in rage, no one cared about it now. At the same time, Ministry of Education. Zhang Tao hung up the phone, his head splitting. He could not help but curse. What the hell is this? These bastards? Can't they just stop? In the past, that bastard Fong Ping stirred up trouble. Now, even Yao Qingjun, old Zhang was so angry that he was about to vomit blood. He thought that these bastards might not be able to comprehend the origin if they went to Stellar Sky City, and these guys might not necessarily comprehend it either. Even if they could not, there were still some benefits for them to go to the Hall of Myriad Origins. Some of the origin in the Hall of Myriad Origins was overflowing. In fact, even if they did not comprehend it, it was still beneficial for high-rank powerhouses as they could comprehend some martial arts paths. At least, they would know how to go. Unlike Wu Quishan, who had reached rank 8 and still had no clue. Of course, the origin that overflowed in the Hall of Myriad Origins was not much. Unless one was talented, otherwise there would not be much gain. In any case, this was still a path. This was old Zhang's idea. In addition, Fang Ping and the others were always stirring up trouble. He thought that now that they were planning for the Forbidden Catacombs, it would be a good thing to let them go to Stellar Sky City to kill some time. Who knew? They were only going now. They were going to rob the Hall of Myriad Origins right after. The next moment, Li Zhen's voice rang in Zhang Tao's ears. At this time, Li Zhen's tone was also very gloomy. Zhang Tao, these kids, you better watch over them. The Hall of Myriad Origins, Stellar Sky City will not give up. I know, Zhang Tao said angrily. Did I ask them to rob it? It's hard to say. Li Zhen, what do you mean? You can't take your eyes off the good stuff. You've been eyeing the Hall of Myriad Origins. Get lost. Do I care about that bit of origin? I didn't instigate it. Zhang Tao cursed. After he was done, he said, besides, that's Stellar Sky City. There are several rank 9s there. How can they rob it? The people in Stellar Sky City didn't tell me the truth. Now that something has happened, they're looking for me. Tell me what's going on? Li Zhen was stunned. After a moment, he coughed softly and said, when Yao Qingjun enters the Hall of Myriad Origins, say that it belongs to him. Close the door and don't let anyone else in. Zhang Tao was stunned at first. Then his eyes lit up. He suddenly shouted, what's wrong with returning it to its owner? The Hall of Myriad Origins belongs to Yao Qingjun. Since it belongs to him, of course, we should return it to him. I knew you were going to say that. Li Zhen was flustered and exasperated. He said angrily, don't even think about it. Do you really want to make the elders fall out with you? Also, the Hall of Myriad Origins belongs to Yao Qingjun. That's the real problem. You've seen the Hall of Myriad Origins. Is it something that anyone can refine? Yao Qingjun can refine it. Who is he? How would I know? You don't know? Of course not. Li Zhen was also having a headache. He said in distress, these guys keep causing trouble. Zhang Tao, think of a way to deal with it. What are you waiting for? Let's go. At this moment, Zhang Tao had also left the office. As he flew into the air, he replied, I can't deal with it. If you're so capable, bring them to the military department. If they don't mess things up in a month, these guys will be under your control in the future. I don't want it. What are you talking about? These high-rank combatants have a lot of tricks up their sleeves. If you really send them to the military department, I said I don't want it. If you bring it up again, no martial arts university students should come to the military department. Take it or leave it. The expansion of the Wuhan military is not a bad idea. Without martial arts university students, the military department's strength will be reduced by more than 30%. If it weren't for the fact that you like to be in the limelight and create hype, why would these people think that you're stronger than me? Are you saying that I'm creating hype? Isn't that so? Zhang Tao questioned. Have you killed a paragon before? I don't think so. You've defeated a paragon before. Haven't I? What right do you have to say that you're stronger than me? What right do you have to rank ahead of me? Martial King, I, Zhang Tao, am known for my martial arts. Is that something you can compare to? Shut up. Who are you telling to shut up? You. Li Zhen, are you trying to spar with me? Shut up. Li Zhen, don't go overboard. I've been in a bad mood lately. Motherf ***. Li Zhen cursed. Martial arts universities were full of bastards. Moreover, this trend was spread by that bastard Zhang Tao. Who are you scolding? You. Li Zhen. Don't think that you can do whatever you want just because you're from the same clan as the subduing Heavenly King. If we really fight, I won't have a problem fighting both of you. Zhang Tao, you're the one who said that. Don't change your words when you get to Star Town. So what if I said it? The two desperation powerhouses were now cursing at each other from hundreds of miles away. Zhang Tao was extremely arrogant, but in his heart, he was thinking, am I really a match for these two? As he thought about it, Zhang Tao cursed under his breath. What was there to be afraid of? The subduing Heavenly King had been guarding Mount Royal Sea and could not come out. Others could come out and rest, but he could not. If he came out, the restricted area would have one less threat. Since he could not come out, why should he be afraid of Li Zhen? The Netherworld King was stronger than the Martial King? Who said that? As for the Martial Arts Association, that old brat Li Zhen must have gone to threaten them. Otherwise, why would they be ranked like this? That brat Fong Ping kept saying that he wanted to beat up the two presidents of the Martial Arts Association. This bastard was all talk and no action. Go and beat him up. I can't do it myself. If you go and beat him up, what can they do to you? As he thought about it, he could not help but curse in a low voice. The trouble these brats caused was not over yet. But it might not be trouble. The Hall of Myriad Origins belongs to Yao Qingjun. What belongs to Yao Qingjun belongs to martial arts universities. What belongs to martial arts universities is mine. Do you think it's that easy to take away something that belongs to me, a martial king? Zhang Tao had made up his mind. Good news. Great news. He had to hurry over. He did not want that old brat Li Zhen to beat him to it and get them out. It was good as it was now. After thinking about this, Zhang Tao's speed soared. He crashed through the cracks in the void. From afar, Li Zhen saw this and cursed again. He could not hold it in anymore. How could he do this? He knew exactly what this old thing wanted to do. He was going to do something big, despicable. I'm ashamed to be associated with you. In the eyes of outsiders, the mysterious, powerful, indifferent, and callous commander, Li almost vomited blood in anger. In the past, martial arts universities were good. Ever since that old thing Zhang Tao took over, there were not many good people. Let's not talk about the two paragons' curses. In the Hall of Myriad Origins, Fong Ping and the others entered quickly. Old Yao closed the door immediately. The moment the door closed, they looked at each other. Wang Jinyang said dryly, Isn't this a little inappropriate? Yao Qingjun said nothing. Fong Ping said innocently, Old Yao asked me to do it. When Yao Qingjun heard this, he glanced at him and said lightly, I'm just telling you that I can control the Hall of Myriad Origins a little. How would I know what you meant? You hit me with your mentality. I'm not Qin Fengqing, I didn't understand. Of course, I thought you were going to do something big. Qin Fengqing said innocently. What did he mean? Fine, forget it. The next moment, Qin Fengqing grinned wildly. I always thought that Fong Ping was the biggest bandit leader. I didn't expect old Yao to be so secretive. You're the one. Compared to you, Fong Ping is nothing. This guy came to Star City and is as timid as a mouse. Only you would dare to rob Star City. Yao Qingjun corrected him. This Hall of Myriad Origins is really mine. After saying that, he added, That's why I didn't rob it. Yao Qingjun corrected him again. I'm not like Fong Ping, who gets jealous when he sees something good. This is really mine. When he said that, Fong Ping remembered. He asked curiously, Old Yao, why did you refine this hall out of nowhere? How would I know? Yao Qingjun was speechless. Nonsense. You're asking me about this? Should I ask myself? God knows how many years ago. Who knows why I refined this thing? Li Hansong was still very confused. He asked curiously, This hall belongs to Old Yao. Is Old Yao one of the martial artists resurrected? If Old Yao is, what about us? Are we the leaders of this group of people? Fong Ping said that they are related to the battle in the Imperial battleground. Could it be that there are really ruins left behind by our battle in the depths? Honestly, I'm confused now too. But one thing is for sure. We're definitely not small soldiers. Otherwise, Old Yao wouldn't have refined such a hall. A few rank 9s can't even enter. I say, you guys still have the mood to discuss this now? Qin Fengqing was a little speechless. He said gloomily, Please pay attention to the situation. Every time we're in a dangerous situation, aren't you afraid that others will come in after discussing this? The most important thing now is to see if there are any benefits. Old Yao, you're the master of the hall. Those halls are still under your control. Yao Qingjun swept his gaze across the hall. He said slowly, I said I can only control a part of it. What do you mean? It means exactly what it says. I can only control the opening and closing of the door. Everyone was stunned. Then, why do we lock them outside? The next moment, Li Hansong slapped Yao Qingjun. He said gloomily, Then why did we come in? I thought you could control all the halls and prepare to seize the origin. That's why I barged in. In the end, it wasn't like that. Old Yao, you said that I've been beaten silly. I think you're the one who has. Yao Qingjun's expression darkened. He said coldly, I said I only told Fong Ping that I can control a part of it. I didn't let you guys in. Fong Ping retorted, you shut up so easily. I thought that was what you were thinking. What does it have to do with me? Shut up, all of you. At this moment, Old Wang finally displayed the style of a big brother. He bellowed, interrupting everyone. These bastards. He felt that he would go crazy sooner or later after being associated with these bastards. They did not have any ulterior motives. Why did they lock them outside? That was not right. When Fong Ping signaled for him to come in, why did he run in so naturally? I was led astray. At this moment, Wang Jinyang's heart was full of sorrow. I wasn't like this in the beginning. The original me, the me 2 years ago, even if I saw something good, I would understand one thing. A gentleman would obtain wealth in a proper way. That Fong Ping guy was still an aspiring martial artist. He killed a rank 2. Did I rob him? I don't think so. Although I took the majority, I still left some for him, didn't I? But now, I was bewitched by him. I came in without thinking and even locked them outside. Wang Jinyang sighed in his heart. He comforted himself. This is old Yao's territory. It's normal for us to not let outsiders in when we're home. How can you let outsiders enter your house? They didn't even ask Startown City to collect fees. Wang Jinyang stopped thinking about this. He looked at the pitch-black hall and said, let's explore it first. When we get out later, old Yao will say that he couldn't control it and the hall closed itself. Li Hansong continued, what about the Myriad Origins Hall? Take it away. After all, it's old Yao's things. It should be returned to its rightful owner, right? If you think you can defeat 12 paragons, then you can take it away. Old Wang's expression was unfriendly. Even a fool would know that it was impossible to take it away. Startown City valued the Myriad Origins Hall very much. This could be seen from many places. Fong Ping naturally understood this. He said loudly, all right, let's not care about this for now. Let's explore the Myriad Origins Hall. As for the rest, we'll talk about it later. I've already informed them. I can't leave Startown City for 3 hours, so they informed old Zhang. We've been here for a while now. Hang in there. Wait for old Zhang to come before we go out. Otherwise, if Startown City gets greedy and kills us, we'll be finished. The so-called greedy was naturally referring to the Myriad Origins Hall. At this moment, in Fong Ping's eyes, this thing was his. No, it was old Yao's. However, was there any difference between old Yao's and his? Chapter 648. In the Hall of Myriad Origins. The main hall's doors were closed and pitch black. However, Yao Qingjun did not know how he did it, but the hall was instantly lit up. Li Hansong asked curiously, aren't you only able to open and close doors? You're even working part-time now? Yao Qingjun glanced at him. This is my first time, so it's hard for me to control it instantly. After some time, I should be able to control the entire hall of Myriad Origins. Fong Ping and the others did not pay attention to the two of them. They looked around. This was a huge hall that stretched as far as the eye could see. On both sides of the hall, there were small rooms. Even the doors of these small rooms were 4 to 5 meters high. The walls of these small rooms were like crystals. Fong Ping looked for a while and suddenly said, this. Did you guys notice? Qin Fengqing nodded hurriedly, looking surprised. This isn't the Hall of Myriad Origins, is it? Isn't this MCMAU Energy Cultivation Room? Fong Ping said with a straight face, that's right. This design, this shape, isn't this what an energy cultivation room looks like? It's separated into individual cultivation rooms. But MCMU's cultivation rooms are much more low-end than this. Having said that, Fong Ping slapped the wall of a room next to him. It did not budge. Amazing! Fong Ping exclaimed and looked at Yao Qingjun. Is this a mentality solidification object? He was a fully accomplished golden body. A casual slap could even deform A-grade alloy. However, this crystal-like wall did not budge at all. Yao Qingjun's soul-splitting spear was related to mentality. I'm not sure. Yao Qingjun shook his head. Maybe something else was added. As for whether it's the Hall of Myriad Origins or the cultivation room, I'm not sure either. MCMDU's cultivation room might be modeled after the Hall of Myriad Origins. After all, Minister Zhang and the rest should have been here before. It's not a big deal to build it according to this. The energy cultivation room's layout was very simple. It used a large number of energy crystals to build a cultivation room that isolated energy to prevent energy from leaking. There was nothing special about it. The reason they said it was similar was because the walls of these small rooms were all crystal-like, giving Fong Ping and the rest a sense of familiarity. Fong Ping rubbed his chin. You don't say. It might really be a cultivation room. Otherwise, why would you be so bored as to create something to store the origin? Unless you know that everyone is going to die. Otherwise, why would you build such a huge palace just to store those things? If it was a cultivation room, it would be possible. Old Yao, take a closer look and see if there's any energy transmission system. All of them were high-ranked martial artists. They were not people who had never seen the world. The moment they saw these small rooms, they immediately connected them to the cultivation rooms. Yao Qingjuan's mentality began to seep out continuously. Fong Ping and the rest also tried it, but it was useless. It could not penetrate through it all. Yao Qingjun was the only one who didn't seem to be guarded against by this hall. The probability of it being refined by Yao Qingjun in his previous life was extremely high. Furthermore, the level of the Myriad Origin Hall was probably extremely high. Ordinary weapons, including divine armaments, should have lost their spirituality long ago if they had not been owned for a long time. The so-called spirituality referred to the activity brought about by the mental energy of the divine armament's owner. If someone else were to use the divine weapon that Fong Ping used, there would be some barriers. However, if a powerhouse erased the mark that Fong Ping left behind, then this kind of barrier would no longer exist. Old Zhang had experience with this. When a powerhouse died many years ago, the imprints left behind when they were alive would also dissipate. No one knew how many years had passed since this hall was built, but the imprint that old Yao left behind was still there. The hall was still active. This was not simple. Yao Qingjun probed for a while. After a while, he frowned slightly. There seems to be one. It's on the roof. Everyone looked up. The hall was very tall. At a glance, the hall's height was at least about 10 meters. The dome was also dazzling in the shape of a crystal, as if there was liquid flowing. It was crystal clear, too much for the eyes to take in. After staring for a while, Qin Fengqing suddenly leaped into the air and threw a punch. Bang! There was a loud bang, but the dome did not move an inch. Seeing this, Qin Fengqing did not give up. He did not attack again. Instead, he stuck close to the dome, touched it, listened, and sniffed. This look made Li Hansong click his tongue. He teased, I said he's the reincarnation of Howling Celestial Hound, but he didn't believe me. This guy has a dog's nose. He must have smelled something good. Now he wants to open the dome to see what's good. In the sky, Qin Fengqing scolded, You're the dog's nose. This is called sensitivity and intuition. The dome should be hollow. There is indeed something inside. The flowing liquid seems to be liquefied energy. Maybe it's liquefied imperishable matter. F***CK. What a big deal. This place probably wasn't used to store origin in the past. It's more likely to be a sacred place for cultivation, just like the Lake of Eternity in the boundary zone. Above the dome might be imperishable matter like this, supplied to old Yao's disciples for cultivation. He had just finished when Wang Jinyang said lightly, Maybe old Yao is just a craftsman. Are you sure this is old Yao's palace? Maybe he was a craftsman who specialized in forging weapons and palace utensils in the past. Qin Fengqing said disdainfully, A craftsman who can build this kind of palace? This is at least the handiwork of a paragon. Your family uses a paragon as a craftsman? That's hard to say. They talked for a while. Fong Ping was a little speechless. Old Wang knew how to gossip now. Ignoring them, Fong Ping shouted, Come here. There are some written records outside these small rooms. Come and take a look. Everyone crowded around them. Fong Ping looked at them and said, This is regular script, right? I don't recognize some of the words. You guys do it. Everyone was disdainful, including Qin Fengqing and Ironhead. Illiterate, uncultured. You don't even recognize regular script. You call yourself a celestial emperor? Isn't it embarrassing? Everyone present, even the slow-witted Tai Tu, often studied ancient books. Fong Ping's expression darkened. Mother Asterisk Kerr. Where did I find the time to learn these messy things in the past 2 years? He did not recognize the seal script from before. These guys were not too familiar with it either. But then again, they were really more familiar with it than he was. Qin Fengqing said casually, I won't argue with you anymore. Let me introduce you. The owner of this crystal house is called Householder Cloudy Mountain. It should be a word, but he didn't say a specific name. People of Huainan sect. This is the administrative division of the Tang dynasty, right? He lives in Cloudy Mountain. I'm not sure where Cloudy Mountain is. Maybe you can find out if you check the ancient books. He's the master of Cloudy Mountain Monastery, an illuminating god martial artist. Wait. Fong Ping raised his eyebrows. Illuminating god? Li Hansong explained, it's rank 7. Rank 7 mentality materialization. In ancient times, it was also called illuminating god. It means martial arts are connected to the gods. Rank 8 was also called golden body in ancient times. Rank 9 is called true immortal. Rank 9 can turn nothingness into reality. Origin appears. That's a true god-fiend powerhouse. According to some god-fiend legends recorded in ancient books, rank 9 powerhouses are almost omnipotent. Fong Ping nodded. I know this. I've seen it too. I've said it before. Guardian Wu and the rest are really weak. They're all fake rank 9. I don't know if those below the absolute peak are not considered true rank 9 in ancient times. The difference is really big. Everyone looked at him. You're awesome. This guy was really arrogant. He even said that Wu Chuan was a fake rank 9. Was he not afraid that Wu Chuan would find out and beat him to death? Continue. Fong Ping did not care about them. He let Qin Fengqing translate. Qin Fengqing was not in the mood to despise him. He continued, there's nothing else. There's not much to introduce about his life. He bragged a little. He once killed an evil dragon in Huainan sect. This is probably the most illustrious achievement in his life. Fong Ping said thoughtfully, he might not be bragging. You've all seen the monsters in the catacombs. 1,000 years ago, in the land of Sino Nation, were there really no demons? Not necessarily. If there were, then it's normal that the other party killed a monster that looked like a dragon. He was a rank 7 martial artist after all. His combat strength would not be too weak, right? Is there anything else? No. That's all. Fong Ping was speechless. He said gloomily, these old seniors really know how to save trouble. They know that they're going to do something big. Can't they leave more things behind? For example, make a hero list or something. Give a detailed introduction of their life. Not necessarily. Wang Jinyang said softly. You have to know that the Hall of 10,000 Origins has been in Star City for many years. It was brought by those Paragon ancestors. How do you know that there's no information left behind? These words were imprinted on the crystal door. If the Paragon ancestors erased them, it might cause some damage. That's why they left them behind. But look at the hall now. It's empty. Could it be that it was originally like this? The end of the huge hall could not be seen at a glance. Other than some small halls on both sides and around, the rest of the place was empty. Before this, it might not have been like this. Fong Ping and the others had already seen a huge empty space about 1,000 meters in front of them. That might be the martial arts arena where these people cultivated in their spare time. Would there be no weapons left in the martial arts arena? But now, that place was also empty. Practitioner Cloudy Mountain's hall was at the outermost area. It was only rank 7, so it should be the weakest. The door of the hall was not opened. This practitioner Cloudy Mountain might have completely perished, or he might be among the martial artists who resurrected outside. However, without achieving mentality vitality unity, one could not release mentality and could not open the hall. Fong Ping paced, saying as he walked, these people sealed off these halls. I can faintly feel the flow of life force inside, but it's very weak unless I use mentality of the same origin to guide it. Now I understand why Star City doesn't open on its own. First of all, it might not be opened by force. Second, if it is opened by force, I'm afraid these halls will be destroyed. With the strength of the Paragon ancestors, and many of them at that, if they join forces, it seems to me that this hall that is not controlled by anyone will not be able to stop them. But if the strength of the Paragon ancestors were to open it by force, perhaps everything would be obliterated. Yao Qingjun nodded slightly. It should be possible to open it by force. I can feel that the energy of the seal is not too strong. Rank 9 might be able to open it by force. But if it is opened by force, the source of life and the origin of martial arts will probably dissipate completely. Star City's purpose is not to let these dissipate. Qin Fengqing interrupted. I don't care about this. What I care about is there really the aura of the origin left inside? Nothing else? For example, weapons, pills, cultivation methods, and the like? I don't think so. Since it's very likely that they would die in battle, would these people not even leave a cultivation method behind? Would they wait for it to be lost? Star City has opened up many halls, but there are no good things? Didn't Fong Ping get a lot of vitality recovery pills and the like before? Those are all treasures. Could it be that there are none in these halls? As they spoke, they had already walked to the front of the second hall. The handwriting on the door of the second hall was very blurry. Fong Ping sensed for a moment and shook his head slightly. It has been opened before, but after it was opened, the door was closed again. Yao Qingjuan's mentality was fluctuating continuously. After a while, he panted slightly and said, I can open it, but it's my first time here. I don't have enough control, so I can't open it for now. Give me some time, I can still open these halls that have been opened before again. But I'm afraid I can't open those that have not been opened before. Because once I open them, the origin inside will dissipate. Qin Fengqing's eyes brightened. Then if I give you more time, can you open them by force under the condition that the origin doesn't dissipate? If you can, then the treasures left behind by these seniors, can't you get your hands on them? It should be possible, but Yao Qingjun thought for a while and said, but if I want to preserve the origin, I still have to open them by force. I'm afraid my current mentality is not strong enough. Qin Fengqing calculated for a while and said with some regret, then what's the use of us here? Fong Ping, change your aura and open a few doors to take a look. There might be good things inside. Fong Ping hesitated for a moment before saying, I can open rank 7 doors that have not been resurrected by anyone. The scary thing is that someone resurrected but did not manage to open them in time. If I open them, how am I going to explain it? Previously, when I was observing from the outside, I saw about 20 resurrected martial artists. There are still some who have not returned. They must have also sensed their own palace halls. If I were to open their palace halls now, wouldn't I make them break down later? If their own origin hall is opened by someone else. Miscalculation, Qin Fengqing suddenly exclaimed in a low voice. He had really miscalculated this time. He should have met those resurrected martial artists and memorized their auras. Then, he would find a hall that had not been opened by anyone and was not resurrected to open it. Just as Fong Ping said, if he opened the halls of these resurrected martial artists now, it would be really hard to explain. The people present knew about Fong Ping, but outsiders did not know. Some things were still clear in their hearts. Fong Ping did not hide some of his nature-defying abilities from them, but it did not mean that everyone knew. After all, Fong Ping had not reached the point of invincibility. If a paragon had the idea, Fong Ping could only wait to be used as a guinea pig. So, we're just going to watch? Fong Ping rubbed his chin and smiled. Since it's old Yao's, then can we really only come once? Resurrected martial artists, we can only meet them next time. Those who have not resurrected or haven't been found are either completely dead or can't be found anymore. We agreed not to comprehend. Now, we can only open the rank 7 halls. It's not a big deal to give up for now. After saying that, Fong Ping said again, actually, it's not like we've gained nothing. Everyone, record all the information outside the door. I still have 2 territory zones tokens here. I'll go check and see if I can find the corresponding people. If I can, it means that this group of people is indeed resurrected from the land of king battlefields. The senior I met was a rank 9 powerhouse. Old Wang, what rank was the one you met? also rank 9. Fong Ping heard that and frowned slightly. That's a little interesting. Almost all the people I met in the land of King Battlefields were rank 9. If it's a group of people, there seems to be only 32 rank 9 here. There should be more than one land of King Battlefields, right? Forget it, let's not care about this first. Recording all the martial artist information will more or less yield some results. Also, go deeper. There seems to be a rank 9 hall in the depths. I've already sensed some aura of the source of martial arts. Also, everyone try it. It might not be that your source of martial arts isn't there. Everyone felt that it was necessary to give it a try. Qin Fengqing looked disapproving. Fong Ping looked at him and said, "Don't be disapproving. You might be the reincarnation of a rank 7 martial artist. Look for it yourself. If it's really here, then you'll be old Yao's servant. Ironhead, don't fight with old Yao for subordinates in the future." Qin Fengqing's expression darkened. "Servant, whoever dares to say this next time, I'll definitely kill him. I'll remember this grudge. Moreover, even if they are, these rank 7 martial artists did not say that they were old Yao's servants, okay? Even the weakest hermit Cloudy Mountain was a mountain lord, okay?" Everyone continued to walk forward in the midst of the clamor. Along the way, they also saw a lot of information remnants. Sima Zhen, Sima family's head, Golden Body Powerhouse. Zhou Mingyue, Bright Moon Tower's landlord, Golden Body Powerhouse. Some of the palaces had been opened, some had not. There were a total of 318 small palaces. A small half had been opened, and a large half had not. Moreover, everyone also saw some palaces with crystal walls that had been completely destroyed. They had been destroyed by force. Yao Qingjun saw a palace wall that had been destroyed, frowning slightly. After a long time, he said, "This should be Polaris City destroying the palaces by force." They wanted to open the palaces and get the things inside. However, everyone glanced at it, afraid that Polaris City did not gain anything. Violent destruction had also destroyed everything inside the palaces. The crystal walls were slightly deformed, caused by the impact force. It was likely that the things inside were gone at that time. Of course, if they were ancient weapons, they might have been left behind. However, books, pills, and so on should have been completely destroyed. This empty palace was not small. Moreover, it was not just a cultivation room. There were living rooms, bedrooms, and there seemed to be a study. The area was quite large, at least more than 300 square meters. Just the 318 palaces alone occupied an area of at least 100,000 square meters. The palaces were not the entirety of the palace. Everyone passed by the martial arts arena and saw some buildings that had been destroyed. Perhaps it was some unimportant place in the past. The Hall of Myriad Origins was at least more than 200,000 square meters. An enclosed palace that was more than 300 acres in size. What did this mean? The key was not this. It was when they looked from the outside, it was not so big. The Hall of Myriad Origins was located in the valley, and the valley was not that big. The entire valley was at most 100 acres in size. This was already an overestimation. Store a mountain in a mustard seed. When they saw the empty palace, only then did they realize that the area was huge. It's a weaponsmithing technique that involves space. The Paragon can't do it. Moreover, such a big palace could be refined like this. If it's really mentality that solidifies and remains unchanged for 1,000 years. For a moment, everyone looked at Yao Qingjun. Li Hansong was solemn at this moment. He said with a straight face, "There's no need to look. Our origin is definitely not here. Old Yao is probably also above the Paragon. Perhaps the Paragon can achieve this kind of weaponsmithing technique that involves space. The current Paragon mainly focuses on combat strength. He doesn't care about other aspects. In our era, there should be 100 flowers blooming. Old Yao is at least a Paragon. If he is a Paragon, then we must be too. At least, we won't be weaker than a Paragon. If that's the case, with our origin left behind, the possibility is not high. Moreover, we are on the same level as old Yao. Under such circumstances, even if I keep my origin, it won't be stored in old Yao's palace. It's more like keeping it in my own home. Also, Old Yao, your home might have been breached. Li Han Song said sympathetically, I suspect that this palace was moved here from the bounded zone. If your home wasn't breached, how could Star City get the palace here? Old Yao, you don't have a home anymore? Yao Qingyuan's face was livid. He did not know whether he was angry that his home had been breached or angry at Ironhead's words. Fong Ping guessed that the latter was more likely. The truth was indeed so. Yao Qingjun heard him still nagging and could not help but say in a muffled voice, Can you shut up? You talk about my home all the time. Find your home. At least I found a palace. This proves that my strength in my past life was indeed extremely strong. From what aspect do you see that you're stronger than me? Li Han Song sneered, his face full of disdain. Nonsense. Just as he was about to speak, Qin Fengqing suddenly shouted from the front, What's with all the noise? Come here. We've discovered a big secret. Everyone hurried over. At this moment, Qin Fengqing was already at the innermost periphery of the palace. The palaces here were not connected. Instead, they were individual palaces. There was more than one. There were a total of 3 separate palaces. The doors of the other 2 palaces were closed. There were no introductions at the door. The third palace from the left, which was the one Qin Fengqing was standing at, had a tombstone in front of the door. Devil Emperor Unquestionable Sword. When Qin Fengqing and the others arrived, he muttered. Very quickly, he looked at Fong Ping and said, Your old brother's grave. You're a celestial emperor. He's a devil emperor. Hey, you dare to say another word of nonsense? Fong Ping's gaze was unfriendly. Qin Fengqing chuckled and continued. Purple Cap Mountain's abandoned disciple, defeated general, deserter. TSK. Did he write this himself or his descendants? It's all derogatory. Also, his wife was killed. He gave up on himself and had no way to take revenge. He didn't dare to fight to the end in the Great War that year. He dragged out an ignoble existence for thousands of years. Is this true or false? Qin Fengqing muttered and added his own words. He said with some surprise, Lived for thousands of years? No, he dragged out an ignoble existence for thousands of years. How long has this devil emperor lived? Great War. What Great War? These few fellows are separated from those rank 9s. They should be paragons. 3 desperate realms? That's not weak. Where did these people go? None of them came back. Did old Yao lead 3 paragons back then? This devil emperor is going to do something big this time. He seems to be one of the leaders this time. Qin Fengqing rambled for a while. Beside him, Li Han Song interrupted him directly. I know what their big plan is. As soon as he finished speaking, he said in a low voice, Change the world. Fong Ping and the others looked solemn, looking at him one after another. Li Han Song continued, Change the world. Yes, that's all. Everyone's eyes were sharp. Beside him, Qin Fengqing said lazily, Look at the inscription. A part of it has been erased. What's with the nonsense about changing the world? You see it, there's nothing else. There must have been some big plan mentioned here. A lot of it has been erased in the end. No need to ask. Star City's paragons did it. Fong Ping and the others looked at the inscription. Sure enough, the last part had been erased. Fong Ping looked at the palace again, frowning. Interesting. Great War. What Great War? Deserter? A powerhouse who might be a paragon's actually became a deserter. After 1,000 years, he came out again to participate in a big plan. Why would Star City hide this? The past can't be traced, and there's no need to trace it. The only thing I'm curious about now is, are the 13 paragons one of them? I've discovered that 16 halls have been activated on the rank 9 side. If we include the 3 outside, that means that there are still 13 left. Are these people already dead, or are they someone else? This is getting more and more interesting. Is there a need for Star City to hide these things? Even if the 13 paragons were really survivors of the war or resurrected, time flies and everything is in the past. Even if they were deserters back then, there's no need to hide anything. Of course, it's considered a dark history after all. It's normal for them not to tell us. Also, it's said that the Hall of Myriad Origins was moved back by the paragons. If they were the ones who moved it back, it means that they might not be one of them. Forget it, I don't care anymore. Fong Ping suddenly shook his head. He thought for a while and said, I'm not interested in what the big plan is. The token doesn't seem to have a corresponding person. It shouldn't be someone from here who has the token. Let's not idle around. Although we can't activate the halls now, I've discovered that the energy here is quite rich. No, it's not energy. It's more like the overflow of a type of martial arts origin. Let's cultivate and cultivate. When old Zhang comes, we'll go out. Even if we can't get the Hall of Myriad Origins this time, we can't go back empty-handed. I've already got some clues after reading this information. Fong Ping felt that he had achieved his goal. He had already thought of many things now. Perhaps he would be able to find the corresponding bounded domain soon and obtain the cultivation method. As for old Yao and the rest, Fong Ping had some vague guesses. These fellows should not be this batch of martial artists who had been resurrected. These people were more like the resurrected martial artists from the King battlefield. Could the great battle that the Devil Emperor Unquestionable Jian mentioned be the one at the King battlefield? 1,000 years plus 1,000 years. That would be 2,000 years ago. Was the King battlefield formed 2,000 years ago? Old Yao and the rest were one of that batch of people? In the depths of the King battlefield, their remains might be there. Was there the origin? Or had they completely turned into the chaos origin? Old Zhang is here. He doesn't want anything else but all the information that Star City can give. No, he also wants the ownership of the Hall of Myriad Origins. Fong Ping glanced at the 3 individual palaces in front of him. Were these really left behind by the ultimate martial artists? If they were, would 3 new paragons be born when the resurrected martial artists returned? Was suppressing Star City looking for all the resurrected martial artists, or were they looking for these 3? Chapter 649. Outside the Hall of Myriad Origins. At this moment, more and more people were gathering. Jiang Chao and the other youngsters were usually not allowed to enter this place. Now, however, while the elders were not in the mood to care about them, they strolled over one by one. Jiang Chao glanced at the tightly shut hall and whispered, Pervert, did Fong Ping and the rest rob the Hall of Myriad Origins? Jiang Hao ignored him. Jiang Chao continued, Are they going to resist stubbornly, seal the hall, and fight to the end? Do you think they'll be beaten to death here this time? Pervert, these guys have a bright future. Why don't we sell them a favor when they come out later? Jiang Hao looked at him suddenly, his gaze sharp. What do you want to do? Jiang Chao looked around, thought for a moment, and whispered, I realized that someone went to Mount Imperial Sea to invite the Patriarch. King Wu is coming too. The possibility of these guys being beaten to death is not high. It's not that dangerous. Jiang Hao was impatient. He glared at him and growled, Just say it. When the Patriarch comes later, or King Wu comes, what do you think? Let's go up and kneel to the Patriarch and plead on their behalf. When the time is right, let the Patriarch see our benevolence. Let King Wu know the loyalty of us Jiang brothers. At the same time, let Fong Ping and the rest know what it means to go through fire and water for your brothers. Jiang Chao grinned. Kneeling to the Patriarch is nothing. When I saw him when I was young, I kowtowed every day. It's not embarrassing. But think about it, we're both rank 6 and 7 martial artists. For a few guys we've only met a few times, we're kowtowing and pleading. Damn, this time they'll be moved to tears. Besides, King Wu is powerful. Our Patriarch is on good terms with him. If we sell King Wu a favor, TSK, maybe we'll have a backer. Pervert, don't blame me for not reminding you. In this day and age, cultivation is important. But the key is whether you have the confidence to cultivate to the peak. If you don't have the confidence, those guys, I'm telling you, they really have the confidence. At this point, Jiang Chao calculated for a while, muttering, My family's elder ancestor, King Wu, Fong Ping, Wang Jinyang, Li Hansong, Yao Qingjun. If the few at the back all become Paragon, F***CK, that'll be 6. Baldy, this guy, I don't think he has a chance. If I marry Su, then the Su family's ancestor will be my backer. Rather than working hard on cultivation, It was better to invest. 7 paragons. From today onwards, who in this world would dare to provoke me? As Jiang Chao spoke, he swallowed his saliva. Too awesome. That was doable. He wondered which old ancestor had returned. It would be best if it was his old ancestor. Now that his patriarch was here, if kowtowing wasn't enough, he would have to break his head. Only then would he appear to be deeply loyal. If it was someone else's ancestor, a kowtow would suffice. As Jiang Chao thought about it, his lips curled up. At the side, Jiang Hao's expression changed again and again. He gently patted Jiang Chao's shoulder, causing Jiang Chao's face to turn green. Fatty, Jiang Hao chuckled. If you embarrass me, I'll skin you alive. Don't worry, your skin will be intact. Jiang Chao snorted and pushed his hand away, muttering, Why do you care if I'm embarrassed or not? Besides, how is it embarrassing to plead for a friend? You people only know how to fight and never use your brains. You're the ones who are embarrassing. It's best if our old ancestor returns. When he returns, Jiang Chao screamed, instantly attracting the attention of the rank 9 martial artists in front. Each of them glared at him angrily. Jiang Chao's tears were about to fall. The pervert almost crushed his shoulder. How hateful. Who are you calling me, old ancestor? Jiang Hao's expression was unfriendly. Jiang Chao's fat face trembled, complaining incessantly. Baldy says that to me every day. I'm used to it. Stay away from this kind of person. Vulgar. No problem. Let go first. When Jiang Hao let go, Jiang Chao shot him a look. Just you wait. Later, you'll complain to the old ancestor for bullying me every day. While the two brothers were messing around in front, Su Haoran said somewhat anxiously, Is the old ancestor back? Don't tell me these bastards are sabotaging the place? If the few of them joined forces, they could still forcefully break through some of the halls. Once they were broken through, the origin would overflow, and that would be the end. These origins had long been weak. Now, they could only wait for the owner of the origin to recover. Once it overflowed, it could no longer gather. Wei Yong said in a low voice, Destroying some halls is nothing. I'm just afraid. Before he could finish, everyone's expression changed. Beside him, the few family heads who had just arrived, one of them snorted coldly. I told you not to invite, but you just had to. What's the use of saying all this now? Until now, no one has opened the 3 main palaces. Their performance was so freakish. Perhaps they were the masters of the 3 main palaces. It was highly likely that the origin of the apex was there. No matter how strong an ordinary rank 9 was, it was not as important as the apex. Shouldn't we invite them here? As soon as these words came out, the others did not say anything. This was also the truth. The 3 main palaces were separated by the leaders of that group of people back then. Although there was no essential difference between an ordinary rank 9 origin and an apex's origin, one had reached the end of the path while the other had just started. Both were still different. Suppressing Star City also had high hopes for Fong Ping and the others to come. These fellows' performance was too freakish. The probability of them being an apex's awakening was even higher. Bringing them to the Hall of Myriad Origins was also a kind of temptation. If it was really an apex's awakening, with the apex's origin, would they not be tempted? When that time came, they would still be able to comprehend it. Now, before they even started, the Hall of Myriad Origins had already been lost. At this moment, ripples appeared in midair. In the blink of an eye, a figure appeared in midair. Patriarch, Lord Warlord, greetings, Patriarch. The next moment, the crowd bowed one after another. In midair, the sturdy warlord ignored these people. His gaze seemed to penetrate the boundary wall, looking into the distance. His tone was not very pleasant as he said, You're martial arts university students. It's no problem for you to rob the catacombs, but are you going to rob Star City too? Senior Warlord, you must be joking. A burst of hearty laughter came through the air. Zhang Tao's laughter shook the sky. He said, Misunderstanding, it's all a misunderstanding. No one expected that the Hall of Myriad Origins would belong to Yao Qingjun. If we had known, there would not have been these misunderstandings. Warlord. For a moment, The sturdy warlord did not really want to talk to that guy. You haven't even arrived yet, and you've already decided on the status? What do you mean the Hall of Myriad Origins belongs to Yao Qingjun? Just because you say so? Although Yao Qingjun could open the door and even close it, it did not mean that it was his. Moreover, so what if it was his? He had already died once. In this life, he was two different people. The inheritance of the origin did not mean that he was the same person. Zhang Tao, you died in this life, leaving behind some divine weapons, which were divided by your descendants. You've lived again. Who knows if you're still the same Zhang Tao now? Warlord pondered for a while, thinking about how to refute later. However, he had not spoken for a long time. He might not be able to out-argue Zhang Tao. It seemed that he needed to use his strength to shut this guy up. Not long after the conversation, Zhang Tao said, "Then I'll come in directly?" Warlord did not say anything. Instead, he waved his hand in the air, causing ripples. In the next moment, Zhang Tao appeared in front of everyone. As soon as he appeared, Li Jin also appeared beside him. The three of them stood proudly in the void. The crowd below bowed again and said loudly, "Greetings, Pluto King, Martial King." Zhang Tao smiled and nodded, but his voice rang in Li Jin's ear. "Pluto King in front, Martial King behind. The list must be changed tomorrow. Get lost." Li Jin's mentality exploded in Zhang Tao's ear. "If you talk nonsense again, I'll kill you." Both of them communicated through mentality, but they did not show it on their faces. Zhang Tao chuckled. "Senior Warlord called him out." Warlord nodded slightly. Without another word, the three of them landed together. As soon as they landed, Zhang Tao looked at the closed door and said, "Come out." Previously, the rank 9s roared outside for a long time, but they could not get through the door and call Fong Ping and the others out. However, as soon as Zhang Tao spoke, the void trembled slightly, and the huge bronze door hummed. Not long after, the huge door opened slowly. "Minister." The few people inside had not finished speaking. At this moment, a plump figure appeared from behind. Thud! A heavy thud was heard. Zhang Chao's eyes were red. He kowtowed and said loudly, "Patriarch, please spare Fong Ping and the others." Fong Ping and the others did not mean it. "Please have mercy, Patriarch." Thud, thud, thud. A series of kowtows were heard. Then, the fat man howled dryly. Lords Hell King, Martial King, Fong Ping, and the others did not intend to occupy the Hall of Myriad Origins. Everything was an accident. Zhang Chao knows them. They are not that kind of people. If you really want to punish, just punish me, Zhang Chao. Fong Ping and I are indebted to him for saving my life. I can't just watch them die. As Zhang Chao spoke, his eyes became redder, as if he was about to cry the next moment. The whole place was silent. At this moment, the whole valley was eerily quiet. Warlord stared at the fat man, thinking for a long time. Should I kill him? Who said I wanted their lives? I haven't even said anything, and you're already begging for mercy. What's the meaning of this? Zhang Tao looked at the fat man strangely, then at Fong Ping and the others who had just come out. He did not say a word. Fong Ping, on the other hand, was stunned. Was Fatty Zhang sick? Qin Fengqing's mouth opened slightly. Amazing. Really amazing. This stupid fat man was amazing. Was this favor a favor? But he was begging for mercy on their behalf. Look, deep affection, a dignified man kneeling just because he said so. Look at the young people in the periphery. They had no experience and had never seen the world, but now they looked like they were worshipping him. What was this? Periphery. Zhang Hao had already disappeared. He had gone into hiding. He could not afford to lose face like this. Li Fei and the others were dumbfounded. Zhang Chao's action was unexpected. Su Zissa wanted to say something, but stopped. After a while, she mumbled, "Fatty? Fatty's crying is so fake." Li Fei and the others glanced at her. "You could tell? We thought you couldn't tell. You're not really stupid. Then what happened to you before?" Su Zissa saw that they were looking at her and was a little confused. "Why are they looking at me? I've always told the truth and never lied. Fatty's crying is a little fake." Warlord did not say anything. Seeing that everyone was silent, Zhang Tao said slowly. Get up first. Marshal King, sir. Jiang Chao looked sorrowful. He first looked at the paragons, then turned to Fong Ping and the others. His expression was solemn. His mouth moved, but he did not say anything. Qin Fengqin was a little tired. He helped to translate. If we die, he won't live alone. Fong Ping's face was stiff. He was speechless for a while. Wang Jinyang sighed softly. Star City. I bet he'll live the longest. They were all helpless. They did not want to say anything else. They did not say anything. Warlord, on the other hand, used his mentality to scan the basilica. Seeing that it was not damaged, he turned his gaze to Yao Qingjun. Ignoring Jiang Chao, he said slowly, try again. Yao Qingjun saw that Warlord was staring at him. He did not say anything. Very quickly, he controlled the door to close it. Can I open the basilica? No. Opening it will cause the origin to overflow. Even you can't? Indeed. Then the basilica's cultivation system can't be opened either? There's no other way. Warlord thought for a moment and said, is it because my mentality is not enough? Or is it because I don't have enough time to familiarize myself with it? Both. When I reach rank 9 and familiarize myself with it for a while, can I open it? It should be possible. Both of them conversed for a while. Warlord smiled. If that's the case, why did you close the door? We even had to rush here. Yao Qingjun looked at Fong Ping. Fong Ping's expression did not change, but he cursed under his breath. Old Yao, this bastard. Are you trying to make me a scapegoat? Yao Qingjun ignored him. He was not familiar with old Zhang and the rest, and he could not talk to Fong Ping. Of course, he would talk. Fong Ping did not delay either. He said hurriedly, I didn't close the door on purpose. After we went in, the door suddenly closed automatically. Warlord said lightly, let's not talk about this nonsense. What do you guys want now? Fong Ping looked at Zhang Tao innocently. You're the boss. You say it. If you don't say it, I don't dare to say it. I want the Hall of Myriad Origins. What if Warlord kills himself? Beside him, Li Jun looked at Zhang Tao, then at Fong Ping, then at Yao Qingjun and the rest. Why did these people give him a familiar aura? It was not an aura, it was a smell. He was still looking. Zhang Tao chuckled. Let's talk in the meeting hall. Let's go. Li Jun saw that he was about to leave, but did not move. He said, let's talk here. There are a lot of juniors here. Let's see if you have the face to say anything here. Zhang Tao smiled. This concerns the Hall of Myriad Origins. Let's go to the meeting hall. Commander Li, am I right? He emphasized the word commander. You're the commander of the military department. We're on the same side. Who are you siding with? Li Jun was speechless. He did not say anything else. He moved and disappeared from the spot. As soon as he left, Warlord snorted softly and disappeared too. Zhang Tao did not mind. He smiled. All the family heads can go together. Fong Ping, you guys come with me. After saying that, he disappeared with Fong Ping and the rest. After they left, Jiang Chao was still kneeling on the spot, his face blank. What about me? Why is no one caring about me? Does this favor count as a sale? Fortunately, it was not that no one cared about him. Soon, a few young children ran over, their faces full of admiration. Fat, Brother Chao, you're so loyal. Yeah, Brother Chao, we didn't expect you to be so loyal. We won't call you Fatty anymore. Brother Chao, you got guts. You're amazing. If it were us, we wouldn't have dared to stick our necks out in front of Marshal King and the rest. Jiang Chao stood up and smiled. It's nothing. They're friends. I can't just watch them get into trouble, right? It's the same for everyone. As he said that, Jiang Chao looked around and chuckled. I'm sorry. I couldn't hold it in just now. Disperse. Having said that, Jiang Chao ran like the wind. He did not care anymore. He had sold this favor anyway. Fong Ping and the rest had to accept it. In midair, Fong Ping and the rest were flying together with Zhang Tao. Zhang Tao said quickly, no matter who owns the Hall of Myriad Origins, it's yours if you insist. Yao Qingjun, if it's possible later, control the Hall of Myriad Origins remotely. Got it? Yao Qingjun nodded. I don't need you to say anything else. That's it. Don't say anything else. After Zhang Tao said this, Fang Ping thought that it was over. However, in the next moment, Zhang Tao's voice rang in his ears. When you get back, ask Yao Qingjun to make a trip to the martial artist's side. Remember, there's only one thing to say to the martial artist. If they want to enter the Hall of Myriad Origins in the future, they must participate in the battle. These guys have forgotten that they're martial artists when they're on a sightseeing tour. 3 rank 8s and 9 rank 7s are all here enjoying their retirement. Star City has almost raised them into pigs. Tell them that if they want to enter the Hall of Myriad Origins again, they must participate in the battle. But some of them have comprehended the origin. That's not important. The Hall of Myriad Origins is not only the place where the origin is stored, but it's also their home. Do you understand what I mean? It's already very difficult for them to give up this place. Some of the revived martial artists from the outside world also come back often. In short, the Hall of Myriad Origins represents the combat strength of 6 rank 8s, 28 rank 7s, and dozens of middle-rank martial artists. I was worried about the lack of manpower now. Now, at least half of them have to come out and participate in the battle. Of course, the method must be gentle. Aren't you good at bluffing? Be gentle, and let them take the initiative to participate in the battle. Fang Ping retorted, I never bluff people. Say that again? Fang Ping wanted to say something else, but realized that he could not. He cursed in his heart. Old Zhang was really wicked. After a while, everyone returned to the meeting hall. Warlord was already sitting on the bronze throne. Beside him, Li Jun was also sitting on the throne. Although his seniority was low, he represented the military department and was also a powerhouse among the top. He would not sit below Warlord. As soon as Zhang Tao entered the room, he immediately found a throne and sat down. Fang Ping and the others stood and waited for a while. This time, it was not only the previous 9 families who had come, but 12 powerhouses had come. Other than Yang Jingjing from the Yang family, the other families had all come. Although the Yang family was still among the 13 families, they did not even have a high-rank martial artist. Even if they did not say anything, they were not qualified to participate in this anymore. When everyone was present, Li Jun said, Everyone sit. As soon as he spoke, Fang Ping and the others sat down in 2 rows. Even though the old man from the Li family was Li Jun's cousin and was a few years older than him, he still waited for the top to speak before taking his seat. After Li Jun finished speaking, Zhang Tao looked at Yao Qingjun and smiled. I'm a little surprised that the Hall of Myriad Origins is actually yours. Did the 3 palaces in the deepest part of the hall sense your origin? Yao Qingjun glanced at Zhang Tao and lowered his head. I sensed it. One of the palaces sensed it. Zhang Tao nodded with a smile. Then he asked, Have you considered comprehending the origin? Not yet. There's no rush. It won't be too late even if you reach rank 8 or 9. Since the Hall of Myriad Origins is there, things can't fly away, Warlord said impatiently. All right, it doesn't matter. The Hall of Myriad Origins won't let you take it away. Zhang Tao, if you're not convinced, then talk to the Li family's old geezer. What do you mean, senior? Zhang Tao smiled. The Hall of Myriad Origins was originally ownerless. Since it was brought here by the seniors, it naturally belongs to suppressing Star City. But since the Hall of Myriad Origins has an owner, whether it's to make better use of it or to return it to its rightful owner, shouldn't it be returned to Yao Qingjun? Warlord glanced at him and sneered. Go to Mount Imperial Sea and talk to the Li family's old geezer. It's useless talking to me. I can't be bothered to refute you. Besides, everything you said is one-sided. Even if it really belongs to Yao Qingjun, it's not the current him. Wait until he recovers his memories and returns to that realm. Senior Warlord, are you being unreasonable? Yes, I'm being unreasonable. Zhang Tao was speechless. What should I do when someone is unreasonable? He glanced at Yao Qingjun again. Come, shake the Hall of Myriad Origins and show them. Yao Qingjun gave it a try and shook his head. It was impossible. The distance was too far. Zhang Tao felt a little regretful. Otherwise, shaking it would be good to scare them. Since it didn't work, Zhang Tao asked again, Senior, are you saying that even if the Hall of Myriad Origins is abandoned and ruined, you won't hand it over to Yao Qingjun? That's right, Warlord said bluntly. It wasn't easy to find this thing back then. Over the years, I've invested a lot in those resurrected martial artists, and I'm still hoping to reap some rewards. Of course, it won't do if the effort isn't proportional to the reward. Also, will Yao Qingjun be able to make good use of it if it's given to him? Zhang Tao chuckled. But it's still Yao Qingjun's. It's fine to lend it to Star-Suppressing City, but isn't it inappropriate for Senior to take it away just like that? Li Jin didn't want to hear so much either. He said directly, there's no point in dwelling on some things. Zhang Tao, tell us your request. Zhang Tao smiled. My request? What request can I have? The Hall of Myriad Origins isn't mine. Yao Qingjun, what request do you have? The Hall of Myriad Origins is still useful in Star-Suppressing City, but I'm afraid we can't take it back for the time being. Whatever you want, just tell us. It's all up to the department head. Up to me? Zhang Tao smiled. Up to you. I might not be able to meet your expectations. Of course, if there's anything you need to add, you can continue. You can just use my opinion as a reference. Everyone understood what he meant when he said that. Zhang Tao had never intended to take the Hall of Myriad Origins. He was here to extort money. Warlord didn't say much. He closed his eyes and said, Speak. The Battle of the Forbidden City is about to begin. Besides the Chun, Shun, and Li clans, Star-Suppressing City will send 3 more rank 9s to assist us. Warlord frowned slightly. After a while, he said, I can't represent the other clans. Yuanhua will participate. Below, Jiang Yuanhua bowed slightly, indicating that he would participate. Zhang Tao raised his brows slightly. After some thought, he said, As for the other 2, no matter who they are, they don't have to go to the Forbidden Catacombs. However, 2 rank 9s will be required to oversee each catacombs for a period of time. We'll send 2 rank 9s from the other 2 catacombs to participate in the battle. Agreed. Warlord agreed without hesitation. He could still make the decision on this matter. As for the other high ranks, send 20 more people. Warlord frowned and said in a low voice, The Battle of Kings is Star-Suppressing City's main battlefield. If we send too many people, the Battle of Kings will cause problems. I can understand that you want to destroy a catacomb. However, if there are fewer people in the Battle of Kings, Zhang Tao smiled faintly. It's fine. We'll send Fong Ping and the rest into the Battle of Kings. When we come out later, we'll just go and pick them up. Why don't you let Fong Ping and the rest enter the Forbidden Catacombs? Warlord looked displeased. Zhang Tao laughed. The Forbidden Catacombs must be stable. The Battle of Kings must be stable too. Fong Ping. At this moment, Fong Ping was very depressed. What was the meaning of this? What was the meaning of this? Was he being despised? Old Zhang would rather transfer people from Star-Suppressing City than let him go to the Forbidden Catacombs. He even wanted to send him to the Battle of Kings to fill in the hole. Was old Zhang really on his side? Above, Warlord and Zhang Tao were still talking. After talking for a while, Warlord refused to let Fong Ping and the rest go to the Battle of Kings. Zhang Tao was slightly regretful and lowered his request. Star-Suppressing City could only send 10 rank 7 and 8 people to help. Warlord agreed without hesitation. As for how to fill in the hole with 10 people, he did not allow Fong Ping and the rest to go. Otherwise, it might cause a huge reaction and cause the rest of Star-Suppressing City to die in the Battle of Kings. Fong Ping and the rest listened for a while and understood. Zhang Tao was not extorting them. He did not mention resources or anything like that, nor did he ask for them. He just wanted Star-Suppressing City to send many powerhouses to help. This was more important than resources. Usually people from Star-Suppressing City, other than the Chun, Shun, and Li families, people from the other 9 families usually did not go to the outer region. Instead, they went to the Battle of Kings. In the Forbidden Catacombs battle, Star-Suppressing City would probably not send out people either. Now, using this as an excuse, they managed to get 3 rank 9s and 10 rank 7s and 8s. It was already beyond their expectations. At this moment, Fong Ping, who was below, glanced at Zhang Tao, and suddenly felt a little upset. Martial King. No matter how strong Martial King was, he was the only one who was strong. Netherworld King, Martial King. These two paragons, together with the two guardians, made up a total of 4 paragons. They were the official paragons. However, Zhang Tao was the only one who truly belonged to the civilian class and had nothing to do with star-suppressing city. Fang Ping did not understand Li Jun. He did not really understand him. However, Fang Ping thought that he had some understanding of Zhang Tao. This unreliable Martial King was probably the only paragon among the paragons who cared about everyone's life and death. As for Li Jun, it was hard to say. Maybe he was about the same as Zhang Tao, maybe he was slightly worse. Zhang Tao was shameless to the point that he asked Fang Ping for resources every day. He was shameless to the point that he insisted on killing a few people every time he entered the catacombs. Even the paragons of the catacombs were laughing at him. Did a true king powerhouse not find it embarrassing to do such a thing? To a true king powerhouse, rank 7s were like ants. If he killed a few of them, it would only dirty his own body. Shameless Martial King, Fang Ping muttered in his heart. The paragons did not care about their pride, but did Zhang Tao really get anything? Nothing at all. Martial King is the same as me. We have no selfishness. We only care about humans and others. At this moment, Fang Ping's heart was filled with emotion. I'm very lucky. I came from a martial arts university. I'm very honored to know such a paragon. Similarly, I'm also very proud that I can stand side by side with Martial King. The Minister of Education should take over my position and continue to carry forward the righteousness of serving the public wholeheartedly. Chapter 650. In the meeting hall, Zhang Tao was still talking. As he talked, he suddenly sensed something. He glanced at Fang Ping from the corner of his eye. Seeing the kid staring at him with admiration, old Zhang suddenly shuddered. I'm in a desperate situation. Shuddering? What's this kid thinking now? Zhang Tao was looking at Fang Ping. Warlord glanced at him too. Suddenly he smiled faintly. Fang Ping, if there's anything you want to say, just say it. I know a little about you. You're a character. What do you want to say? Say it, and let me hear it. Fang Ping was all smiles. I don't have anything to say, kid. Say it. Warlord snorted and looked at Fang Ping with an unfriendly expression. Your gaze, kid, makes me feel a little uncomfortable. Fang Ping said awkwardly. That, humph. Fang Ping was helpless. I didn't want to say anything. Why do you want me to say it? Since you want me to say it, I'll say it. Fang Ping stood up and did not continue sitting down. With a smile on his face, he said, There's something I don't understand, Senior Warlord. Honestly speaking, other than the Desperation Realm Patriarchs, I'm a little lacking in respect for the others. Cough, cough. As soon as he said that, the expressions of the 12 family heads changed slightly. Fang Ping continued, I don't understand. There are so many powerhouses in Star City. There are 50 to 60 high ranks. If we include the resurrected martial artists, I'm afraid there are close to 80 high ranks. Why do so many high-rank powerhouses keep dying in the Land of Kings? Is the victory of the Land of Kings really more important than the victory of the Outland? Or do people like you think that the Outland is insignificant and the restricted area is the most important? Fang Ping said, then added, but in the Outland, if there are close to 80 high ranks, Senior Warlord, we can save a lot of people. Countless people. You're a paragon, and you're very old. You definitely know more than this kid. I don't have the right to question anyone, and I shouldn't question anyone. I really don't understand. Is the Land of Kings really inseparable? Warlord said lightly. Is it because you're upset? Do you think that your minister is the most powerful, the most selfless? Before Fang Ping could speak, Zhang Tao laughed. Senior Warlord, you flatter me. I don't deserve it. Don't deserve it. The War King glanced at him. F***CK? I'm asking a question. Don't you understand my tone? Ignoring Zhang Tao, the warlord pondered for a moment and said, There are indeed some things that you don't understand. Zhang Tao has his way of thinking, and we have ours. We can only say that everyone's choices are different. As soon as he said that, The faces of the 12 patriarchs changed. Warlord was actually explaining things to Fong Ping. Was there a need for a human ancestor who had stood at the pinnacle for several hundred years to explain anything to a brat who hadn't even grown his hair yet? Fong Ping was not qualified. Even Fong Ping himself was a little surprised. Had Warlord taken the wrong medicine? Was he really going to explain to him? He thought that Zhang Xian was going to ignore him. The war monarch smiled faintly and said, "There is no need to be surprised. We notice that you and the people beside you are acting strangely. You guys shouldn't be reincarnated martial artists from the era of sections." If he guessed correctly, he might be a martial arts practitioner from the ancient martial era who had been resurrected, or a martial arts practitioner from the intersection point between the end of the ancient martial era and the beginning of the era of sex. Actually, judging from the refining methods of the Hall of Myriad Origins, he should be someone from that era. It's hard to say who he is, but he might be from the same era as the Devil Emperor Unquestionable Jian. You guys must have seen the Devil Emperor Unquestionable Jian in the Hall of Myriad Origins. He should have been active during the Qin and Han dynasties. The Qin and Han dynasties were the end of the ancient martial era. The era of sex can actually be traced back to the Han and Tang dynasties. During the Han and Tang dynasties, myths had already been extinguished. At that point in time, most of the ancient martial artists had already disappeared. Since then, we have entered the era of sex. This person, Unquestionable Jian, has lived through 2 eras. You guys might understand him better in the future. He once participated in a battle that destroyed the world. Our speculation is that this battle was the one at the Battle of the Imperial Battleground. For now, there is no clear evidence to prove this. He said that he was a deserter, so he might be the survivor of this battle. 1,000 years later, he reappeared, gathered all the powerhouses of the current era, and single-handedly directed the destruction of the era of sex. This person has lived through 2 eras and witnessed the destruction of 2 eras. He is the true epic. I know you guys want to ask about the battle 1,000 years ago. I will tell you guys. Let's not talk about this for now. At this moment, Fong Ping and the others were listening attentively. Old Yao and the others' identities in their past lives seemed to be coming out soon. The intersection of 2 eras. It might be at the end of the ancient martial era and the beginning of the era of sex. This point should be in the pre-Qin era. Whether it was or not, they would talk about it later. Warlord continued, "I'm saying all this just to make one point clear. You guys are different from the group of resurrected martial artists outside. If you guys are really resurrected from the ancient martial era, then it means that you guys are very powerful. If you guys could cultivate to that level in your past life, you can do it in this life too. In the future, maybe you guys will be eating from the same pot as us." When he said this, he saw Qin Fengqing looking at him happily. He smiled and said, "This does not include this young friend. Don't pretend to be a resurrected martial artist next time. Being a resurrected martial artist is not necessarily a good thing." Qin Fengqing's expression stiffened. The 12 patriarchs looked at him one after another. Su Haoran and the others were livid. "Didn't you say that you sensed your life origin?" Qin Fengqing looked gloomy. "Why are you looking at me? Did I pretend to be a resurrected martial artist? I only said that I might be, but I didn't say that I definitely am. Really, you guys even deliberately exposed me." Warlord ignored him and continued, "Since we might become paragons, then some things need to be said, lest you guys think that Star Town doesn't do proper things." Fong Ping hurriedly said, "Senior, I really didn't mean that. You guys have been guarding Imperial Sea Mountain for hundreds of years. Such a great achievement. Even the ministers can't compare." Zhang Tao suddenly had an impulse. Should he kill this thing? Fong Ping immediately added, "We can't even compare to 1 in 100 million. Warlord chuckled. "Don't give me that. I've lived for hundreds of years. What haven't I seen? Zhang Tao and the rest of the younger generation can't compare to us." Zhang Tao sighed. Sure enough, flattery would never work. Back to the topic. "About 90 years ago. Is that right?" Zhang Tao calculated and said, "More or less, 90 years ago, Star Town's 13 paragons had an internal disagreement." Warlord's tone was a little bleak as he said, "That year, the catacombs' outskirts were rioting. We were guarding Imperial Sea Mountain, but Shen Haoyan couldn't hold it in and attacked the outskirts. That time, a battle between the paragons broke out. The Hall of True Kings sent 19 True Kings and fought against the 13 of us from Startown. After that battle, Shen Haoyan and Chen Gaiong were heavily injured. Old Devilly fought 1 against 3, heavily injuring 1 and ending the battle. In short, that battle made everyone waver, unwilling and powerless. Therefore, after that battle, there was a disagreement within Startown. Shen Haoyan and Chen Gaiong decided to start the Neo-Martial Era and end the Startown Era. That's how the East and North Guardians came into being. That's how the martial arts universities came into being, and that's how the Neo-Martial Era came into being. Therefore, Zhang Tao is just a fart. Don't be fooled by him. The one who really started the Neo-Martial Era wasn't Zhang Tao or Li Jun, but Chen Gaiong and Shen Haoyan. Zhang Tao was speechless. Nonsense. I wasn't even born then. He was not even 90 years old this year. Of course, he was not the one who started the Neo-Martial Era. Meanwhile, Fong Ping and the others below were listening attentively. So that was how it was? In 1921, Capital City Martial Arts University was founded on this foundation. Back then, it was rumored that the catacombs were rioting. The government was unable to stop them, so they opened martial arts universities and started the Neo-Martial Era. This was also started by Startown Era. At that time, an all-out battle between the paragons actually broke out. Fong Ping's emotions surged. A battle between more than 30 paragons. How shocking was that? Warlord continued. Chen Gaiong and Shen Haoyan's idea was that there are undiscovered pearls in the sea. If everyone is like a dragon, then we can fight against the catacombs. As for Li Jun, he was fooled by these two since he was young. He had no choice but to join them. Zhang Tao was the beneficiary of the undiscovered pearl in the sea plan. He was the biggest beneficiary of the Neo-Martial Era. That's why he supported the Neo-Martial Era and did some chores on top of it. Beside him, Li Jun said nothing. Say whatever you want. I'll pretend I didn't hear you. Have I been fooled? Old Ancestor Chun and Old Ancestor Shun's idea was right. Of course, he had to support it. Zhang Tao, on the other hand, looked dissatisfied. Is this called doing some chores? Warlord ignored them and smiled. As for us, we don't really agree with this plan. First, there weren't enough resources at that time. What undiscovered pearls in the sea? No matter how many geniuses there are, without resources, how can they cultivate? Resources are limited. There's so many people. How can we distribute them? Moreover, in our opinion, the outer territories are not too important. Even if we can't attack in Mount Royal Sea, we can still attack once we get out of Mount Royal Sea. Of course, this requires some time. That's why some disasters happened. Of course, although our ideas are different, our goal is the same. Second, there weren't many outer territories opened at that time. Actually, it wasn't a desperate situation. We didn't have the mood to do something like popularizing martial arts. It's too troublesome. Moreover, the results were limited. Seeing that Fong Ping and the others did not agree, Warlord laughed. I said the results were limited. That's the truth. Chen Gaiong and the others thought that it was impossible to cultivate more than 10 paragons from ordinary people. After all these years, how many people have really become paragons? Even Zhang Tao. He only managed to enter the high ranks because he was lucky enough to pick up a complete plant monster. Then, when he woke up, he became a paragon. Fong Ping and the others looked at old Zhang in shock. They only knew what happened in front of them. They really did not know what happened after. Zhang Tao's expression changed. In the end, he simply closed his eyes and rested, pretending that he did not hear anything. Of course, Zhang Tao being able to enter the Paragon is still beyond our expectations. Actually, to be able to create a Paragon in less than 90 years, we have already achieved our expectations and exceeded our imagination. Not only that, Nan Yunyue seems to be coming soon. Both of you, Chen Gaiong and the others' Neo-Martial Arts Era, is a success. Now, some of us actually agree that the emergence of the Neo-Martial Arts Era has changed too much. Chen Gaiong and Xin Haoyan are meritorious. As for the rumors in the outside world, it's because of Li Jun that these two became guardians. This is also true. However, both of them did not become guardians previously because they did not care. You make it sound like Li Jun started the neo-martial arts era. This is unfair to Chun and Shun. This kid Li Jun is really shameless. He even dares to take this credit. Li Jun really could not stand it anymore. It was fine to talk to old acquaintances. There were still a few young people from martial arts universities here. Old Jiang, I have never said that I started the neo-martial arts era. The two progenitors are not willing to show their faces in public and are not willing to be discussed by others. I can't possibly announce this to the world, can I? Li Jun felt a little helpless. Why did he encounter so many troubles recently? Was it necessary for him to steal the credit of the two progenitors? Warlord sneered and did not say anything. He continued, "This is the philosophy of Chun, Shun, Li, and Zhang. Everyone is like a dragon. The sea rises to the top to fight against the catacombs. However, this dream is too far away and too difficult. However, there are results. The threat from the outer lands has indeed been quelled a lot. Therefore, they conquer the outer lands in order to seize more resources, cultivate more martial artists, and produce more powerhouses." Fong Ping and the others understood. So that was how it was. As for the remaining 11 of us, including the Li family's old ghost, our philosophy is different from theirs. Our idea is to continue moving forward. Walk to the top. We stare at the king battlefield at the boundaries. We only have one goal. That is to walk a new path and step into the Emperor realm. That is the Catacombs Demon Monarch realm. As long as we step into the Emperor realm, we can quell the threat from the Catacombs. Whether it is 13 paragons, which is easier, or a few dozen paragons from millions of martial artists, is easier. The benevolent see the benevolent, the wise see the wise. They have their ideas, and we have ours. Everyone has their own duties. If you do not see the people from Star City in the outer lands, it does not mean that Star City does not contribute. What is the purpose of conquering the king battlefield? It is not for them to enter the top themselves, but for us. We need them to investigate some things for us and see some things. Because it is inconvenient for us to move on our own, everyone in Star City is actually our pathfinders. Everyone understands this as well. At this moment, Warlord spoke frankly and did not hide anything. He chuckled and said, "Fong Ping, if you were to choose, which path do you think is more suitable?" Fong Ping hesitated for a moment and said, "Walking on two legs, can I do that?" Everyone's energy is limited, including us. Warlord sighed and said, "If it was not for Li Jun and Zhang Tao sharing the burden for Chen Gaiang and the others, they would have led the neo-martial era for the past 30 years. However, in that environment, who knows how many years humans could waste? It took close to 100 years for the neo-martial era to achieve the current results. Moreover, we indeed have two legs now. We do not care what Zhang Tao and the others do. We have our reasons for doing what we do. So, do you understand now?" Fong Ping nodded and asked, "Then in the king battlefield and the boundaries, are there definitely opportunities to break through to the top?" "It's hard to say. I can only say that there is still hope." Warlord smiled and said, "So, when you really reach the impasse, you will actually be faced with a choice. But now it seems that Zhang Tao and the others are still better at bluffing. It seems that you already have a choice." Zhang Tao laughed and said, "Senior Warlord, you can't say that. How is it bluffing? Reality has proven everything. The glory of the neo-martial era is also a clear proof. Also, since you have already said it, I will say a few more words. You think that after becoming a monarch, you will destroy the catacombs so that humans will no longer be troubled by war. However, to be more realistic, there are a few seniors in Star City who do not think this way. So, we can only walk our own path. It is better to rely on ourselves than others." Having said that, he looked at Fong Ping and the others and said, "Today, Senior Warlord and I have shared some things with everyone. Just listen and don't think about it until you reach the top. If that day really comes, you will make your own choice. No one can change it. At this point, Warlord also opened his mouth and said, "Indeed." Having said that, he added, "If you have any questions, you can ask now. If I can tell you, I will tell you according to the circumstances. As for the Hall of Myriad Origins, you can't take it away now. We still have use for it." When Fong Ping heard that he could ask questions, he immediately asked excitedly, "Senior, how old are you this year?" Warlord's expression stiffened. Zhang Tao also scolded, "Ask about serious matters. For example, the situation of the bounded boundaries, the situation of the war 1,000 years ago, the origin of the bounded boundaries, the origin of the king battleground. You can ask more about these." There was no other reason, because he was not too clear himself. He was too young, that was the truth. He was not even 90 years old, and had only been at the top for a few years. All these years, these old antiques did not tell him much about these things, so he felt a little helpless. It's good to live long. Look at them, they know everything, but I don't. Now I have to take this opportunity to listen in. Fong Ping felt a little helpless. I still want to ask more. However, from what Zhang Tao said, some things should not be asked. After all, it involves some private matters at the top. It might not be a good thing to ask. Fong Ping suppressed the curiosity in his heart and repeated old Zhang's words. Warlord laughed and said slowly, "It's not that I can't tell you, but it's a long story and I'm too lazy to say it. How about this? All these years, we've also made some records. You can go back and see for yourselves. You can't leave Imperial Sea Mountain for too long." As he said that, a stack of animal skin books appeared in Warlord's hand out of thin air. "These are some records we made in our spare time, including some of our speculations. You can take it back and read it. Try not to leak it. Some things are not good for you to leak. If you're not strong enough, what's the use of knowing?" The animal skin books flew through the air and landed in front of Fong Ping. Fong Ping hurriedly took them, suppressed his desire to read them, and said hurriedly, "Thank you for explaining. It's good to know some things. All of you are very lucky. All these years, we've also been under a lot of pressure. The more you know, the more pressure you'll feel. Normal people might not be able to bear it." As Warlord said that, he looked at Yao Qingjun again and said, "When you're stronger, you can come to the Hall of Myriad Origins again. There are some things on the dome of the Hall of Myriad Origins. We didn't force it open because we were afraid of damaging the Hall of Myriad Origins. If it's used well, the Hall of Myriad Origins might be able to help some people advance quickly. However, you're still a little lacking now. I'm afraid it'll be difficult for you to do so. Startown won't always occupy the Hall of Myriad Origins. I can guarantee this. Lastly, I still have to say this. Zhang Tao is not a good person. Don't learn from him." As soon as he finished speaking, Warlord disappeared on the spot. Zhang Tao's expression did not change. As for how he cursed in his heart, no one cared. Li Zhen's expression did not change, but he must be very happy. Zhang Tao was indeed not a good person. When Warlord left, Fong Ping and the others knew that the matter had come to an end. Warlord had promised Startown to help in the battle against the Forbidden Catacombs. He had also told them some things, including some information that Fong Ping wanted. It could be said that this trip to Startown had been a success. Not only had it been a success, but it had also exceeded the quota. Fong Ping was quite satisfied. As for old Zhang, he was sure that he was satisfied too. If Warlord did not make a few remarks about him, he would probably be even more satisfied. They left, but Zhang Tao and Li Zhen were not people who had nothing to do. Li Zhen disappeared in the blink of an eye without saying goodbye. Zhang Tao, on the other hand, called out, "We'll come and take the Hall of Myriad Origins when we reach rank 8 or 9. It's hard to take it now, and it won't be of much use even if we take it. Also, make a copy of the information and send it to the Education Ministry." After saying that, Zhang Tao disappeared quickly as well. The 12 family heads looked at each other. At this moment, they were still a little surprised and shocked. The Warlord Patriarch had told Fong Ping and the others many things this time, even with a hint of explanation. The reason for this was because he felt that Fong Ping and the others did not seem to like Startown. Did Warlord think so highly of them? Resurrected people from the ancient martial era, at this moment, The few of them also thought of this and could not help but look at Fong Ping and the others. These people were actually not in the same group as Hui Hong's group. The real martial artists from the ancient martial era. They were shocked, and so was Fong Ping. After a while, he whispered, "Old Zhang, didn't extort me?" Wang Jinyang felt helpless. "Are you addicted to being extorted?" Moreover, Zhang Tao didn't come here to extort you. He only came to ask Star Town to send people to help in the battle. Moreover, do you still have anything on you that has been extorted? The Battle of Skygate City just ended, and I only extorted a sum of money from you. You haven't gained much from coming to Star Town, and you haven't fattened up yet. Fong Ping muttered, not paying much attention to it. The information in his hands disappeared into thin air, stored in his storage space. The ease with which he could obtain these things had far exceeded his expectations. The next moment, Fong Ping was just about to return home when he suddenly thought of something. He immediately said to the various patriarchs, "Seniors, my words just now were a little offensive, but Senior Warlord's words have made me completely understand. Different paths, but the same goal. This is something that I have deeply felt before. This junior apologizes to seniors." Fong Ping's face was full of respect, which made Su Haoran and the others feel much better. "At least you know what's good for you." Fong Ping apologized and quickly added, "Also, I want to go to the valley again." Everyone was on their guard. Fong Ping explained, "We want to communicate with those resurrected martial artists. Since Warlord and Minister have said that the Hall of Myriad Origins will stay in Star Town, we definitely won't take it away now." Su Haoran felt a headache coming on. "Fong Ping, that's enough." Martial King declared his sovereignty before he left. "You don't have to repeat it again and again. These things are decided by the elders, and we can't change it. As for the few of you," he really wanted to say, "get lost." After thinking for a while, he decided not to say it. "Forget it, you guys can stay a little longer, lest you say that we didn't treat you well." However, before the sky turned dark, these bastards must be chased away. They must not stay the night. Chapter 651. Coming out of the meeting hall, Qin Fengqing said softly, "I'm going to the city." Fong Ping looked at him and raised his eyebrows slightly. "Don't go overboard." "Am I that kind of person?" "Yes." Qin Fengqing was speechless. After thinking for a while, he said, "At least get me 2 divine weapons. I'm so poor now. At most, I'll return them when I reach rank 8. Anyway, they probably haven't reached rank 7 when I reach rank 8. As soon as he said that, everyone looked at him. "You're so confident. Where does your confidence come from?" Qin Fengqing did not care about all this at all. He said seriously, "Anyway, in their hands now, it's almost the same as an A-grade alloy weapon. I'll borrow it first. When I reach rank 8, I won't need it anymore. Then, I'll return it to them. Don't you think this is the best use of resources?" Then, he added, "I also need a few divine accumulation fruits. Dark moon grass would be the best. That should be enough." Li Hansong was speechless. "Do you really think it's a resource vault for you to raise your cultivation? What if you lose?" The bet wasn't just about winning. If Qin Fengqing lost, where would he get the life essence to give to others? Qin Fengqing looked at Fong Ping. Fong Ping ignored him. Qin Fengqing considered for a moment, then said, 30, 70. "You take 30, I'll take 70. After all, I have to go on stage and do the hard work." Qin Fengqing's face was full of grief and indignation. He gritted his teeth and said, 50-50, that's enough." Fong Ping glanced at him and said slowly, "Don't go overboard. Just go about it. A divine weapon, 3 divine accumulation fruits, and a stalk of dark moon grass should be enough for you to reach the unity of essence and blood. If you really lose, you'll have to find a way to pay me back. This time, I won't write an IOU. If you can't pay me back, then I'll sell you to Polaris City. They don't mind having a peak rank 6 marry into their family." Qin Fengqing's face was full of grief and indignation. "You really want to sell me?" However, he had no money. Without money, he couldn't complete the bet with others. If he really lost and couldn't produce anything, he probably wouldn't be able to leave Star-Suppressing City. Considering all this, Qin Fengqing said helplessly, All right, then let's go to the valley first. Hurry up. Can't you see that those old men can't wait to drive us away? Got it. Fong Ping said a few words and left the meeting hall under the escort of Li Mo and the rest, heading toward the ravine. Yes, escort. Su Haoran and the other rank 9s were too embarrassed to follow them. They kept their eyes on them. However, in order to prevent any accidents, he still sent 2 rank 8s and 2 rank 7s to escort them there. As for Qin Fengqin, he was also escorted by a rank 7. It might be more appropriate to escort him. On the bluestone path, Fong Ping did not fly. He walked slowly along the bluestone path, smiling as he walked. Old Li, have you fully recovered from your injuries? Li Mo wanted to ignore him, but after some thought, he said, I've recovered. I forgot to ask, are you at the peak of rank 8? This was not confidential, so Li Mo did not hide it. He replied, it's peak rank 8. You should have some understanding of rank 8. Rank 8 mainly cultivated the golden body. The strength of the golden body represented the level of the realm. The strength of the golden body could generally be measured by the limit of qi and blood it could withstand. Therefore, rank 8 mainly depended on the strength of the golden body forging. The golden body required qi, blood, mind, and imperishable substance to be forged over and over again. Strictly speaking, 9 times was the limit of the golden body. When the golden body was forged 9 times, the human body had also reached a limit. At this time, one could seek the path and walk on their own martial arts path. Fong Ping frowned slightly. Old Li, this is different from what MCMAU said. Fong Ping was no longer a rookie. He understood these things very well. He said, MCMAU saying that there is no such thing as 9 refinements. The vitality limit represents the strength of the golden body. However, MCMEU does not distinguish the number of times of forging. When vitality reaches 100,000 calories, that is the limit of rank 8. Liamo laughed. The so-called 9 refinements is just a saying. It doesn't mean that one must forge the golden body 9 times. I'm talking about a theoretical limit. You should know by now that ancient martial artists should have a few directions, not just one. Some major in the physique, some major in mentality, and some do both at the same time. Among them, there are those who specialize in the unification of 10,000 paths. Speaking of unification of 10,000 paths, Liamo said, unification of 10,000 paths is not to major in the physique. It seems to be similar to major in the physique, but in fact, it is a specialized cultivation process. For example, majoring in the physique is equivalent to studying cultural studies. Majoring in one subject, but you still have to study the other subjects. However, if you specialize, you will only study the subject you choose and not learn anything else. Can you understand what I'm saying? Fong Ping laughed. I understand. It's very vivid. In that case, unification of 10,000 paths is actually still different from major in the physique. Yes, there is a difference. Liamo explained again, this is not what I said. In fact, Polaricity does not understand the unification of 10,000 paths. This is what Elder Ancestor Su said. Back then, after the youth competition, after the incident, Polaricity was also shocked by the unification of 10,000 paths. Therefore, after Elder Ancestor Su returned, he asked for some advice. Only then did he know some of the differences. Unification of 10,000 paths, giving up everything else, is even more terrifying than the ancient martial artists who major in the physique. Liamo explained for a while and said again, therefore, the saying of 9 refinements is actually suitable for martial artists at the unification of 10,000 paths. Li Changsheng can complete the 9 refinements. At rank 8, he can forge an even stronger golden body. However, he can't give birth to imperishable substances, so this is another contradiction. The limit of his physique is probably only at the point where he can withstand 100,000 vitality. At that time, he must step onto the origin road. Rank 9 martial artists, the strength of their physique may not be much stronger than rank 8, unless they are at the peak. Ordinary rank 9 martial artists, even if they understand the origin path, will continue to forge their physiques, but the difference between them and rank 8 is not too big. If they really complete the 9 refinements of the golden body, rank 8 martial artists may be able to rely on the strength of their physique to compete with those who are not at the peak. 9 refinements is a legend. Modern martial artists, under normal circumstances, they are strong and weak. At the peak of rank 7, the moment the golden body completes the guidance, the vitality can reach 50,000 calories. I'm talking about when the golden body completes the guidance. At this time, they have actually stepped into rank 8. Therefore, it can also be said that the beginning of rank 8 is vitality, 50,000 calories, 50,000 to 60,000 vitality. This belongs to early stage rank 8. During this process, when we complete the second golden body, the first is the direct guidance. 60,000 to 70,000 calories. This belongs to middle stage rank 8. This is the third golden body. 70,000 to 80,000 calories. This is upper stage rank 8. This is the fourth golden body. 80,000 to 90,000 calories. This is peak rank 8. This is also the fifth golden body. However, some people are talented. At this time, they can still continue to forge the golden body. If they do not step on the origin path, then they can continue to forge the sixth golden body. At this time, the vitality limit is 100,000 calories, with a 100,000 calories vitality limit. At the sixth golden body to enter rank 9. Among the rank 9, they will also be powerhouses. Wu Quishan was like this. Li Changsheng will probably be like this too. Li Changsheng used vitality to forge to that point. Therefore, this also causes peak rank 8 to have strong and weak rank 8. This also causes early stage rank 9 to have strong and weak rank 9. It is not simply a matter of the rank 9 origin path understanding. Liamo said a lot. Fong Ping suddenly realized and said, then 7 or 8 times of forging won't do. Yes, but again, you don't have enough imperishable substance. With this time, you might have entered rank 9 for a long time. Liamo sighed softly. The biggest limitation of modern martial artists is the problem of the imperishable substance. Fong Ping, I heard that you want to find ancient martial arts cultivation methods. If you really find a cultivation method that can cultivate imperishable substance, then you will be a great hero to mankind. If that is the case, there will be a lot more high-ranked martial artists in an instant. Moreover, all high-ranked martial artists will enter a period of rapid improvement. Especially rank 8 martial artists. There are actually many rank 8 martial artists now, but everyone is limited by the imperishable substance, unable to cross the threshold quickly. Old Li, Startown's patriarch, really did not find any ancient martial arts cultivation methods. But as far as I know, Commander Li and the others have entered the bounded boundaries before. Indeed, they did not find it. Liamo pondered for a moment, looked at the few Startown martial artists beside him, and said, since Patriarch Zhang has given you the information, you will find out soon. Startown has been to the bounded boundaries before, but those who went were the half-crippled kind. The ones that are truly well-preserved are actually the ones that no one has entered. The Tian'an catacombs is actually well-preserved, Liamo said in a low voice, and continued, these half-crippled bounded boundaries have cultivation methods, but there is no cultivation method that cultivates mentality. The patriarchs speculate that mentality cultivation methods should not be passed down through ancient books, but Fong Ping's face was full of anticipation, and Liamo did not disappoint him. After a moment of silence, he said slowly, mentality cultivation methods should be the foundation of some bounded boundaries. Therefore, the cultivation method inheritance will not be passed down, but passed down in a way similar to the origin path inheritance. Many movies. Fong Ping suddenly realized something and shouted. At this moment, the few of them stopped in their tracks. Fong Ping, however, did not care about them, and murmured, I understand now. I really understand now. If mentality cultivation methods are passed down in a way similar to the origin path, then it is an exclusive mini-movie, the same model as when the Vice-Chancellor watched Rose City Lord's origin last time. As for the bounded boundaries have this kind of inheritance. I think I know now it should be that powerful origin. So that's how it is. In the crippled bounded boundaries, maybe this origin has already dissipated, or maybe it is unable to pass down cultivation methods. However, the bounded boundaries that are still well preserved now, that powerful origin still exists, so it can be passed down. And if you want to obtain cultivation methods, you can only go to these bounded boundaries that are well preserved. Also, I suspect that the cultivation methods of each clan might be slightly different. Some people mainly cultivate mentality, some mainly cultivate the flesh, some cultivate both, some unite Daos. If you want to find the exclusive cultivation method of unite Daos, it will also depend on luck. Liemo gave him a strange look and said after a while, "You're very smart. The patriarchs actually said something similar." Fong Ping said modestly, "It's just a, boldly you flatter me." After Fong Ping was done being humble, he chuckled and said, "Oldly, in that case, the patriarchs actually did not obtain this kind of inheritance, right?" "Should be." Liemo thought for a while and added, "Actually, there is also a possibility that the patriarchs obtained an incomplete inheritance. This kind of incomplete cultivation method caused the patriarchs to be unable to pass it down, or should I say, copy it. Many people have this kind of speculation, so I don't mind telling you. Fong Ping, if you can find a complete cultivation method and completely popularize it, all of humanity will be grateful to you." Fong Ping smiled bitterly. "Old Li's expectations of me are really high. Even the Paragon Patriarchs did not get it. Even I don't believe that I can get it." Liemo said with a faint smile, "It's hard to say. The few of you have entered the bounded boundaries before. You must know, the bounded boundaries are not a place that anyone can enter. The last time we went to Tian'an, we were not sure if we could enter. Patriarch Yang's idea was to let a resurrected martial artist try to attack. Among those who died in the battle last time, there were resurrected martial artists. However, that batch of resurrected martial artists 1,000 years ago were only some intergenerational successors of the bounded boundaries. Whether they could do it or not, it's hard to say. You guys are different if you were that batch of people from the King Battleground. Actually, you can match up, you guys can enter. Even if you can't obtain the inheritance now, when you reach rank 9 and understand the origin, the possibility is very high." Having said that, Liemo continued, "This is also one of the reasons why old ancestor Jiang gave you the information. If there are no accidents, some well-preserved bounded boundaries will be introduced in the information. Actually, the old ancestors still hope that you guys can enter, including King Wu and the others. Therefore, at this stage, no one wants to see you guys fall, but wait for you guys to reach rank 9, enter the bounded boundaries, and obtain the cultivation method." Fong Ping's heart skipped a beat. It seemed that there were some things that everyone knew, but they did not say it out loud. Perhaps the last time they returned from the bounded boundaries, Qin Fengqing, this guy, showed an unusual behavior, and Zhang Tao had probably already guessed it. This batch of people was not in the same group as the previous resurrected martial artists. This time, Old Yao and the Hall of Myriad Origins reacted, which further confirmed this point. Therefore, Warlord gave them more information. Zhang Tao's meaning was also very clear. In the upcoming battles, it was best for Fong Ping and the others not to participate, and to cultivate in peace. When they reached rank 9, perhaps they could enter the bounded boundaries and obtain the inheritance. Sure enough, when martial artists reached this realm, there were not many who were fools. Everyone had their own guesses, but they did not say it out loud. Also, those people 1,000 years ago were indeed related to the bounded boundaries. Intergenerational descendants? Perhaps it was more appropriate to say that they were the Earth branch? The real elites of the bounded boundaries might have all died in battle in the King Battlegrounds. Back then, Earth might have been the outer sect of some bounded boundaries. After the battle in the King Battlegrounds ended, the elites of the bounded boundaries were completely annihilated, and these outer sect disciples might have lost their inheritance. Fong Ping vaguely had a rough idea of what happened 1,000 years ago. When he went back and compared it with the information on the information, he could more or less come to a conclusion. The history of martial arts has been completely revealed to me. Fong Ping exhaled in his heart. The reason why he wanted to trace all these was not just for the history, but to obtain more useful information, to obtain some things that he wanted. After chatting with Liemo along the way, when they arrived at the valley again, Fong Ping suddenly looked at Liemo, smiled, and said, "Old Li, will you consider going to MCMU to teach for a period of time?" Liemo stared at him blankly. speechless for a while. Fong Ping chuckled. After staying in Suppressing Star City for so many years, aren't you bored at all? I think Old Lee is probably bored of the King Battlegrounds. Also, if you don't reach rank 9, you can't go to the court area. The world is very big and very exciting. 108 outer territories. How many of them has Old Lee been to? Have you ever experienced the limitless scenery of the outer territories? Going to the bounded boundaries for a walk, going to the royal city to take a look, going to the forbidden lands for a spin, seeing different royal city, different outer territories, seeing different guardian monster plants and monsters competing with different royal city lords. This is life. In the King Battlegrounds, fighting with rank 8 catacombs martial artists, fighting back and forth, I think those people are also the same. You can't kill me, I can't kill you. I'm afraid they've fought until they want to vomit. Only by going to more places can they better understand their own martial arts heart and embark on a martial arts path that belongs to them. Senior Warlord and the others have needs. They need you to find information and opportunities for them to take a higher step. But if you don't reach rank 9, can you really help the old ancestors? Oldie came out for a spin. Maybe he could reach rank 9 soon, then return to the King Battlegrounds. That would be more useful. There are many powerhouses in Star Town, but doesn't Oldie feel oppressed and limited? Look at the outside world. Minister Zhang is at the peak, and Minister Nan is close. There are more and more rank 9 martial artists. Vice-Chancellor Wu entered rank 9. Guardian Wu became a guardian at a young age. General Tian also entered rank 9. Others like Commander Guo also entered rank 9 one after another. Oldie was someone who fought with the old Vice-Chancellor back then. If the old Vice-Chancellor was not too seriously injured, he might have entered rank 9 many years ago. Now, looking back, don't you have any regrets, Oldie? Liamo was speechless. Did he have regrets? Of course he did. Were there no powerhouses in Star Town who did not have regrets? In this life, Star Town, King Battlegrounds, Star Town, and so on and so forth. 108 outer territories. How many have been to them? The limitless scenery of the outer territories. How many have they experienced? Not to mention the catacombs, the human world. Sino Nation is so big. How many places have they been to? When they were young, they even went out to explore. Now that they are old, it seems like they have not gone out for many years. The last time they went out was to MCMAU, and it was because of the juniors. Beside them, the other 3 people's eyes were also flickering. Fong Ping smiled. Of course, the King Battlegrounds still need manpower. If there are fewer people, it will also cause pressure on the other seniors. But the younger generation is also growing. Zhang Hao, Su Ziyu, and the others are also gradually becoming stronger. Li Fei and the others are also constantly improving. I think Zhang Chao is not too far away from rank 7. That includes some resurrected martial artist seniors. Actually, they don't have to stay in Star Town and go to the King Battlegrounds to explore. Maybe they don't have the qualifications, but I think that if the venerable progenitors speak up, it's not impossible for one person to exchange for another. The small Star Town is heaven and hell at the same time. Would high-rank powerhouses be willing to stay here for the rest of their lives? If they are not high-ranked, it will be dangerous to go out. This is understandable. The younger generation is still young. It is normal to cultivate to rank 6 before going out. But the seniors are not young anymore. Fong Ping sighed. 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. An ordinary person's lifetime will pass. At this time, there were already many resurrected martial artists gathering around. Fong Ping sighed again. Day after day, staying in Star Town all day long is indeed safe. However, cultivating martial arts to this level is just for retirement. To cultivate one's character, martial arts must fight. In the outside world, which martial artist does not know this saying? Which martial artist does not understand that martial arts must fight? Therefore, in the neo-martial era, 100 flowers bloomed, powerhouses emerged continuously, and batches of seniors shed their blood. Even if they died in the catacombs, they would still be praised by future generations. Countless years later, some people remembered the 2 guardians who started the neo-martial era. Some people remembered the three ministers who led the neo-martial era to glory. Some people remembered MCMEU's old vice-chancellor and other seniors who sacrificed themselves. Some people remembered Axe King and the others who died in battle in Tiananmen, however, dying of old age in Startown. How many people would know? Did martial artists live for fame and fortune? No, it was not for fame and fortune. However, in one's lifetime, cultivating to a high rank in the outside world, everyone could be called a grandmaster. However, could some high-rank martial artists be called grandmasters? High-rank martial artists, that's what some people call them, not some grandmaster. I'm not talented. I'm only 20 years old, but I can still earn the reputation of Grandmaster Fong. I'm very proud, very proud. Fong Ping looked around and looked at Hui Hong and the others. He smiled and said, Master Hui Hong, when you go out, will anyone call you Grandmaster Hui Hong? Mr. Zi, what about you? Someone like Old Li can still be called a grandmaster when he fights in the land of kings, but the few of you, I've overstepped my boundaries. Let me say something from the bottom of my heart. Have any of you called me that before? Don't tell me that we don't even want to leave a trace in this lifetime. A martial artist should live a carefree and carefree life. Everyone should know that I am a grandmaster, fighting for fame, but not for fame and fortune. Fong Ping's voice grew louder. He said clearly, years later, even if I really die in battle in the catacombs, there will still be people who will know that Grandmaster Fong Ping once fought for humanity and killed countless enemies in the catacombs. Even if I die, I'll be content and have no regrets. Years later, who will remember all of you? Resurrected martial artists. Everyone, people like you in the eyes of the higher-ups, in the eyes of the powerhouses, have no name. There's only one synonym. Resurrected martial artists. The living are actually not as good as the dead. Although they're alive, although they've lived to a high rank, they don't even leave behind a name. Hui Hong. Hui Hong is a figure from 1,000 years ago. He's so alive that he doesn't even have his own name. Resurrected martial artists actually want to borrow the name of their past lives. Ridiculous and sad. I'm Fong Ping. He's Wang Jinyang. He's Li Han Song. He's Yao Qingjun. We've lived for ourselves. Fong Ping said loudly. Who in the outside world doesn't know us? Who would treat us as figures from our past lives? We live for ourselves, not for our past lives. I don't want others to only know that there was a resurrected martial artist who lived and died without even leaving behind a name after I die. As Fong Ping said that, Hui Hong and the others' faces flushed. Fong Ping said loudly again, Master Hui Hong, do you have your own name? Or do you only remember that you're Monk Hui Hong, the abbot of Eternal Peace Temple from 1,000 years ago? Monk Hui Hong's expression changed drastically. He said in a low voice, I'm Guo Shengquan. I have a surname. I'm Guo Shengquan. I'm Fei Zihu. I'm Guan Fu. Scholar Zihu also looked like he was struggling. The crowd gradually became restless. When Lian Mo and the others saw this scene, their faces went blank. Something big had happened. Far away, Su Haoran let out a long sigh, murmuring, We've led the wolf into the house. We've led the wolf into the house. This kind of guy shouldn't be allowed to take a step into Star Town. He's better at talking than Martial King, and he can stir people's hearts. I'm afraid our Star Town is going to be in chaos. Hurry up and chase him away. He's still instigating the resurrected martial artist now. Once he enters the city and instigates our clan's disciples. Yes, hurry up and chase him away. My grandson is still young and has just entered rank 4. He's been making a fuss about going out. If he's instigated, hurry up and chase him away. Words are like knives. Hui Hong and the others don't have much experience. I'm afraid they're going to fall into a trap. Many of the family heads heaved a long sigh. Star Town had really made a mistake this time. The mistake was that they should not have invited these guys into the city. It was a huge mistake. They had always let the resurrected martial artists do whatever they wanted. They let them come and go as they pleased. Many of these people had lived in Star Town for their entire lives. They were not stupid, but they were really much more naive than the martial artists in the outside world. If Fong Ping's words were said to old foxes like Wu Quishan, it would be fine if they just listened. They probably would not take it seriously. However, if he said these things to Hui Hong and the others, they would really get into trouble. At this moment, Su Haoran, who was the first to invite Fong Ping and the others, was really regretting it. He should not have been so talkative. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.